ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low-rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern...
Attention. Attention, please.
It's Saturday night. Hey now, YouTube. We couldn't get hooked up to Revolution Radio, so
we are.
Oh, we are. Are you there? No.
I'm here.
Are you there? I heard you. Now you're gone. All right, get ready for a cacophony.
I'm still here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the audio. Yeah, the audio is kind of trippy.
I don't know, man. All I know is, hey, man, things are normal over here on the YouTube plane, and I'm not live on the radio over there on Independent Broadcast Network. Now we are. All right, listen. It's the whole situation going on over here. But don't worry, because realistically, the show doesn't actually start tonight until 10:30. So we have time to kick it old school and hang out with you and talk about some more stuff, because we got a bunch of things going on now. Epic Journeyman has been on a rampage. I don't want to give too much away, but here, let me go over to my here. Let me go over to OBS now. Take a look. Here's Pope Soap on a rope. Pope Soap on a rope. Now, I'm giving you this, and I'm telling you here because it might have something to do with the Pope. I'm just saying, I'm not giving anything away. I'm just saying, I think Epic Journeyman has definitely gone. You've never heard any of this before, ever, anywhere. So that ain't going to be happening until later, though. But Epic Journeyman, you're here now. Don't give too much. Don't give it away, man, because I know how you are. You're excited, and you should be, but try to keep you cool now. Hold on a second now. So now, what the hell's going on around here? Can you hear me, man? Well, apparently it's going to be one of these nights. And, given the current situation and the way things have been going, it doesn't surprise me one bit. But, the thing about life is it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to it. that makes, that's what separates the men from the boys, per se, so to speak. All right. I'm gonna give it another try. Rock and reel. Are you there? He's not there either?
I am here.
Jesus H. Christ Almighty. That's what my grandma used to say.
I want to say thank you, Comet, for the hookup.
Thanks, Comet. I sent him a message.
On the back end of the server there, he took care of it.
I sent him a message. I was rude. I said, WTF. But
apparently this is going on for everybody. So
I know.
Apparently the server doesn't answer group calls.
Well, I tune in, okay, to Rev Radio quite a bit just to see what's going on over there, and I've been hearing nothing but problems. I heard some dude, and the thing was, it was looping because it was the guy said what he said, and then there was an echo, and then that just whole kept looping over and over again. And he was cursing out the Teams situation. Hey, listen, we got a new phone number over here because Rio, with this new Teams situation, Rio can't handle it. Oh, geez.
Well, it's not that I can't handle it. It's the the Microsoft or Microshaft, however you want to call it. Just apparently does not want the new Teams thing does not work like Skype did, and
no,
so there's difficulties involved. Apparently that's Rev Radio's problem, our problem.
Well,
probably a plethora of other people are having issues with this whole transition nonsense too. But take something that worked flawlessly for 20 years and just toss it in the bin because they want you to pay for the same service that you had for free is basically what it comes down to, I think.
831-337-8711. That's the number. 831-337-8711. Okay? 831-337-8711. Put that in the chat. 831-337-8711. It's a cacophony of missteps. Call me anytime. You can call right now if you want, just to test the line before we get on ground zero. This will be beyond ground zero. This will be this is Into the Microcosm pre-show. It's backstage action. Are you guys still on here?
Yeah, we're still here.
I hear no background noise whatsoever.
Well,
it's really
I guess that's one thing they finally fixed is the hissing in the back, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I can't see this. I guess I won't see anything until someone calls me, and then I'll know. I can't see the number anymore because I'm in Zoom. Yeah, 337-8711. Exactly, Bundo. Thank you. Somebody call it. Fingerman, call the number. I won't pick up. Just call it. Butthole surfers. Practice show, dude? No, it ain't a practice show. It's a bunch of fucking technical issues. Trying to make the best of it, believe me. Because we got plenty of information. So let's get back to that. So, what are you guys seeing going on? What the hell's going on around here? Now, listen, since we're only on YouTube, and that's a good thing for right now, because what I got...
Ding, 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 ding. I hear that.
Hey, I see who it is. Let's see here. Cack. Are you there?
Fingerman.
Oh, Fingerman. What's
Fingerman.
happening? What's going on? Go.
Oh, just calling the number like you said.
Right on.
Said you weren't going to answer, but hey.
How's that sounding over there to you, Rio? Uh-oh. I think what happened is when I came over to here, I must have muted the other thing. All right, I'm going to hang up. Hang up.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
I can't resume the call. What the fuck? No, this is too much. I can't get back in their call. I can't get back in the call. There we go, let's see. No. Won't let me back in. Now I'm fucked. Can you guys still hear me on YouTube? I'm sure you can. Hang on. I'm fucked now. I can't get back into the call. It won't let me in. Not letting me back in. This is gonna fuck me right now if I do this. I don't got no other way to do it. Sorry, everybody. That's the way it goes sometimes. Let me see if I can join this call. It's not letting me. That's right. Here we go.
There we go. Now I can hear you.
All right. Yeah.
And I can see you too.
Well, apparently.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Apparently. So,
there's the Epic Journeyman. Yes. And we have made it into Revolution Radio.
All right.
The echo is terrible.
And YouTube. So we're all working.
All
Hello,
right.
everybody.
Hey, what's happening? So, apparently, if I take a call in Zoom, it kicks me out of the Skype call.
Uh-huh.
So, I guess there ain't going to be any calls tonight until we get it.
No, that's what we were saying earlier. I don't think so.
Well, I'm just saying, I was trying to get it hooked up, but I mean, I don't understand why that would happen.
It's probably taking exclusive control of your microphone or some such thing. You'd probably have to use two devices into the soundboard to be able to do that.
Here comes CAC.
Well, CAC I can add into.
I just merged CAC in here. What's up, CAC?
Right.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's happening?
What's up?
So it looks like everything's still working over here. The only thing we don't know about in Skype is if somebody calls the number. 718-618-9905. Give that number a call. See what happens.
Oh, it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work.
Well, let's see.
All right. Give it a shot.
718-618-9905. See what happens. Well, let's see what happens before we get on Ground Zero.
Well, I mean, I can take the call, but I can't put it through the board. Well, maybe I could.
Is somebody calling?
No, nobody's calling. But
I'll just call it. I'm fucking around, playing games.
We already did this before. It doesn't work. I can't merge it.
Oh wow.
What is it? 718-618-9905.
Yeah.
I called the wrong number. Hang on. 718-618-9905. Anything?
Yeah, I see you calling.
Well,
but I can't add it to the group call.
Can you take the call and we can hear it?
Not at the moment. I can set up to do that, but I can't do it right away. Well, I mean, I could set it on. I could plug my phone into the soundboard and do it that way.
Yeah. Oh well. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. That's all I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now at this point, I'm so spun out that I'm just, you know.
We love us some teams. That's we're team players over here. We love teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck teams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying in the chat. It's funny, man, because we tried, man. We for those who don't know, we did hours and hours trying to get this working before the show. So this isn't just like a one-time thing.
Yeah, no.
Because they killed Skype like what 2 days ago, basically officially. Mm. So
this morning for me actually, it worked. Yeah. It worked last night. Oh.
We're good though. Yeah. We're dealing with it. We're adaptable creatures. That's what we humans do. So nobody can do it better than us here in the microcosm. So come on board.
Well, let me tell you right now, I'm gonna take me a big fat hit with some weed. Try to calm my nerves.
Have you guys heard these Stoic man things?
The what?
There's this whole thing on YouTube where it's the Stoic man, right? And they have this like it's more than one channel.
Oh, Stoicism.
Somehow it's about Stoicism, and somehow I found myself asleep, and it just came up in my queue and started playing while I was asleep, and I woke up listening to it. There's a bunch of them. They'll have like the same narrative voice. The Stoic man, Stoic man doesn't fear loneliness. The Stoic man embraces it. That kind of thing, right?
I think
and so I was cracking up because I came up with all these things, listening to it like a silent live skit.
I think
it's so funny, man.
I think that whole Stoic thing is in conjunction with men going their own way. That whole movement.
Oh yeah,
men going their own way, and it's like that. There's some dude has a whole website about it.
Oh, there's a bunch of them, but they've got this AI voice on most of them apparently, because they sound the same, right? It's like the Stoic man doesn't fear loneliness. The Stoic man embraces loneliness. For in loneliness he finds his own soul. That kind of thing.
Find a way to get rid of that noise, man.
Oh,
I don't know where that's coming from. That
is not going to happen.
It's Teams telling us that somebody's calling in. Great.
No, it's Teams. It's the chat. You have to go into the settings to turn it off. There's a way to turn it off.
Turn it off immediately.
I'll see if I can find it.
I've been listening to that on Revolution Radio for the last 3 days, man.
The Stoic man will not tolerate such nonsense.
No.
For the Stoic man finds his own way.
Brett, level 6, Exactamundo.
Yeah,
I see some of this shit.
When we were talking.
All right, listen. I wrote a short story, and I put it up here on YouTube, and I'm gonna go ahead and play the short story right now, only because why not? Because we're just sitting here anyway. It's a 6-minute video, and that'll give us time to get our shit together over here. Let me.
All right.
Because wait a minute. Before I go there, let's go here. Okay, we're back to the Pope on the rope, soap on the rope. You guys, since this is YouTube special tonight and it's behind the scenes type of shit going on, all right, here, I'm going to blow your fucking doors off right now when I show you this video. Hold on. Let me drop it back down to where it was. All right, hold on. This fucking video. This is a KFC commercial. Are you guys ready? You're not going to believe this. Dudes on the call, go on YouTube. Let me know when you're there. So I'm gonna make sure you see this. You are not going to fucking believe this. Are you ready? You guys on the call, you ready? Can you see the screen on YouTube?
Yeah, I can see it on YouTube.
All right, here we go.
I can see it.
Says recent.
Did you see that shit? Did you see that? Fuck, I'll play it again. I'm gonna play it again.
The Illuminati eye in the middle of the chicken. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Says recent.
Oh, it's PepsiCo, man. It's PepsiCo. So PepsiCo has Taco Bell. Oh, guys, you guys got me off on it. You got me now.
Yeah,
So check this out.
The red scarf on the head, the dirty Louisiana.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, dude. KFC's gone satanic, man.
Didn't
They're
they just?
into
No, it's
the,
PepsiCo. It's PepsiCo. I'm telling you.
What
They-
is
they-
that? Eyes wide shut, right? That's where they.
Eyes
Yeah.
wide shut.
Yeah.
Yep. The red.
That's where that is.
So PepsiCo owns Pizza Hut, KFC, right,
Mhm.
and Taco Bell. And Taco Bell has 3 6s on its every single building. If you go to the building, they have a 6 on on 3 corners. 6 6 6, right?
Yep.
And
And,
if
it's a serpent's eye in the 6.
Yeah, and they did the first Illuminati commercials as a parody. It was Taco Bell,
Yeah.
and now you got them
Yeah,
doing it with this, right? Yeah, absolutely. Pizza Hut's coming next, I guarantee you, because it's Pepsi's an eye too. If you look at the actual logo,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's all about that.
Man,
You're not
Looks like
supposed to
they
notice
had
that.
fried adrenochrome.
Right, Trina.
man, I'll tell you right now, it's PK 139. It ain't chicken, and
Yeah, that's not a real.
it's
chicken.
KFC. It ain't chicken anymore. And the other thing is, I don't know if you've seen this. Do you know that they have? If you go to the store, you go to the grocery store, and you go to the meat section, you're gonna see hunks of meat in there, and it's gonna look just like meat. Only the label says mock beef, mock New York steak. Somehow I don't know what they're doing to it. They're gluing it together or something.
Well, they grow it in a. They basically take.
No, it says mock.
Yeah. It's
Grow
not.
in a petri dish. Yeah,
They grow it in a petri dish. Yeah, they can't call it
No,
real beef
this
because
is
it didn't
not-
grow up.
No, this is like big chunks of. This is like roasts and shit. This is
Yeah.
steaks. It looks like steak.
Yeah. There's actually a name for the glue. I forget off the top of my head, but they call it meat glue.
Yeah,
And
that's what they're
take,
using.
They take all the scraps, they shred them up, grind them up, they mix it in with the lab grown stuff, and they glue it back together and call it a steak.
So somewhere in 2018, I think it was, or 2019, they took somewhere in there, 2018, 2019, they took the FDA requirement for naming your meat, what it was, it took all the label requirements away, as I'm saying, and not all of them, but most of them. And the thing is that it was to enable them to use GMO grown, meat, right, in a petri dish, make this artificial stuff. That's why, if you notice somewhere around there, 2019, all the restaurants, like Subway is a good example, is pick your protein, not your meat. It's pick your protein. If you go to the menu, it says pick your protein. It doesn't say pick your meat, right? That's why all that stuff's fake.
That's what they ask you at Chipotle too. Pick your protein.
Yeah,
when you go through the line. Yep.
Because it's not chicken or beef anymore. Exactly, that's right. And somehow we're supposed to not notice. Like I mean, they did it deliberately. They said so. They said they were going to do it. And when they did it, they took the regulations away because they dismantled the FDA, and now we don't have the labeling requirements that we used to have. And it particularly applies to fast food restaurants, I guess in general. It's one thing to have it in a soup can. They have to put monosodium glutamate and stuff like that, or used to anyway, in a soup can. I think that's even going away. But when you go to a restaurant like Chipotle or Taco Bell or wherever, they don't have to say anymore. I mean, you think about Taco Bell, they actually, it's one of the cleaner restaurants, believe it or not, because they put all this stuff in it's just like a caulking gun. They put all the food comes out of a caulking gun. I'm not kidding you. Like, it comes out of this caulking gun to cut the top off. They put it in the trays, and then when they put the condiments on and stuff, it comes from that too. It's crazy, man. But that's PepsiCo, and PepsiCo is exactly the Illuminati commercial we just made. That they're the ones behind all that. And the fact that we're viewing it now makes me wonder just how bold or emboldened, I guess is the right word.
Well, the thing is we know there's a company down in San Diego that grinds up the aborted baby tissues and makes it into a powder that they use as flavoring, and PepsiCo is the company that uses a lot of that in their drink mix or whatever. So you want to stick away from Pepsi if you like cola.
Just another good reason not to drink soda. Right?
One time I was in San Francisco and I was working on a job, and I was going up an elevator from the garage, and there's a bunch of dudes in there delivering sodas from Pepsi. And I dropped that whole thing on them about that. You should have seen the look on their faces. It was funny. All right.
Yes, they grow the cultures for the flavoring with fetal stem cells.
Well, that's no joke. And when people think about corporate farming, like they don't think of what the corporation is. It's Pepsi and Coca-Cola. That's what every fast food restaurant serves. The highest profit margin thing there is at every fast food restaurant is their soft drinks. So Coca-Cola has Burger King. Coca-Cola has Jack in the Box. Coca-Cola has McDonald's, right? They're the owners of all that stuff. And the corporate farming ties into that. And PepsiCo, Pepsi owns Pizza Hut Pizza. They own, Taco Bell, and they own, we're just talking about it here.
Yeah, well, the thing is most restaurants serve
they're
Pepsi.
The corporate ownership there.
Most restaurants serve Pepsi. So much so that they should change the name to the bitch to, is Pepsi okay? Because every restaurant I ever went to, that's what they say to me. I say, hey, da-da-da-da, and a Coke. Pepsi okay? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, no,
it's
Pepsi.
No kidding.
Pepsi. No kidding. I mean, so the corporate warfare, talk about like the Soviets and the free countries of NATO back in the day. It's really Pepsi and Coca-Cola are the real war going on in the corporate world. And it's not a joke. I mean, that's for real.
I was watching a video of this guy, and it was the video was titled "Gen Z's Hate America," and it was a dude that was yelling and screaming at his phone in his car, like 20-year-old dude, all pissed off about the billions being sent to foreign countries, and he couldn't make. I just thought it was kind of funny. All right, listen, I'm gonna run this video, 6 minutes. Short story. I think you'll recognize the tale. It's in the microcosm.
Cole sat still, legs folded, her chin resting on her knees. The flames flickered across her face, catching in her green eyes, making them spark like polished glass. She didn't blink much, she didn't speak at all, but she listened like she was built for it. The old man watched her from across the fire. He'd waited a long time to tell this story. Most of his life, maybe. You couldn't just tell it to anyone. It was dangerous. Not because it was a lie, but because it was the last piece of the truth.
They buried the world.
They call it history, they call it progress, civilization, science. But what you see around you, this world, it's not what came after, it's what came next. It's a cover story, laid over the bones of something older, greater, true. There was an event, the Great Anomaly. The sky broke open, a pulse from the sun, so strong it cracked the crust of the earth. Mountains buckled, seas boiled. But the worst of it wasn't fire, it was movement. The ground turned to liquid, liquefaction. The cities didn't just fall, they sank, buried in minutes by their own foundations, and the mud swallowed everything. Cole didn't flinch, she just breathed a little slower.
They knew it was coming. The old families, the ones with the telescopes, the observatories, the bloodlines. They'd been watching the sky for centuries. When the signs lined up, they didn't warn anyone. They went underground, deep vaults, seed cities, waiting. And when they came back up, the world was quiet, empty. The old cities were gone, buried, but not destroyed, just hidden. Under 30, 50, 100 feet of new earth, so they built on top, and they rewrote everything.
Do you know what I mean? They told a different story, a new one. They invented your past, built timelines out of fog, named cities after themselves, installed agents. Men like Rockefeller, Morgan, Edison said they built the world from scratch. Lies. They just took what was left and called it theirs. They stole the buildings, they stole the gods, and they stole the children.
The children.
There weren't enough people left, so they gathered what they could. War orphans, displaced, shiploads of them, taken from Europe, Asia, all over, sent to the Americas to repopulate the reset lands.
Made? Old man incubators, birthing factories, rows of glass tanks, synthetic wombs, the first generation of the reset, no mothers, no memories, no questions.
Cole stared at the fire, silent. Her fingers twitched around the strap of her satchel. He watched her. They gave them schools, a fake history, a false origin, a god designed in committee. Everything sterilized, everything controlled. But the buildings, the old ones, they remembered. There were spires, tall as the sky, towers of stone and crystal that pulled energy from the ether, drawn straight from the field. They didn't burn coal or split atoms. They used resonance. The earth vibrates, the sun sings, the stars hum. They built cities tuned to that song. Cathedrals weren't temples, they were cathedrals, machines, capacitors. Their domes collected charge, their bells harmonized the body, their walls were tuned to the ley lines, natural rivers of energy beneath the earth. You could walk into one and come out healed, aligned, clear. That's what they took from us, that's what they buried.
Why are you telling me?
Because I'm going to die, and someone needs to remember. You don't need to understand it all yet. You just need to carry it. A little while longer, until someone else asks the right question. When they do, you'll know what to say.
There goes YT. There's the keeper of the flame. There's 6 minutes of your life you can't get back. But the good news is, hopefully everything's all right over there. You guys still there?
Yeah, that was great,
Yeah.
Jimmy. Excellent.
You guys like that?
Love it.
Right on. If you don't, that's cool too. Oh wait, that's just now playing on YouTube. Oh, that's how far back I am. But it's funny because now the chat is current, but the video is back like 9 minutes ago. Weird. All right, it's
it's weird.
It's 9:30. So, what you got on the table there, Sonny boy? In order for me to do anything, I got to go over here and get my iPad and pull it up because one of the things I wanted to talk about was a smart ID. And that's kind of what we were going to get into here in the first hour. Was we're going to talk a little bit about what the fuck's going on around here, and it's not good, because these programs, these things that we've been working with for the show, have revealed a certain uncomfortable aspect, and that is that when one situation on Skype moved from Skype over to Microsoft by itself, what happened is a lot of people's identity that they had when they were in Skype, now all of a sudden it's not their Skype name or their chat name or their fake name, it's their actual names. And so that puts people in a weird situation, and I'm only bringing it up only because when you're moving into the future as we are, it's like a lot of times I can sign in to anything that I want to go to on the internet. It asks me to sign in with my password. And if I don't have a password and I don't have an account there, all I got to do is sign in with Google, because of the YouTube channel. So Google, because of the YouTube channel, you have to verify it's you before you can go live on the air. So in other words, if you want to reject giving them that information that they need to make sure it's you, then you won't go live on the air. The only thing you can do is upload some shit. So most people have to provide the information. And so like we all provide information everywhere around here, but and so now all of a sudden your information doesn't seem like it's going to be so private, especially with this smart ID and some of this other stuff I got here for tonight that we're going to get into. But the Internet of Bodies being one of those things. And, you know, what about it now, Epic Journeyman? Smart ID, CAC, Rock and Rio, come in here on the Smart ID and let me get this document up, this article talking about it, because you know what? There's some.
It's awful. Yeah,
some,
I have to do it for work, even flying between islands, and I fly between islands all the time here in Hawaii, like 3-4 times a month. And I have a passport, but yeah, it's this whole thing where they ask you to have it, but it's not accessible. You know, in other words, you can get it, but it doesn't. You know, I have to fly, let's say on Tuesday. It's not going to be ready by Tuesday. You know what I mean? And like my coworker 2 weeks ago, we flew to Oahu, and I rented a car, you know, for both of us when we're driving around, and he couldn't drive because he didn't have his driver's license, because they take your driver's license while you're getting your real ID done. You know, I mean, what the heck is that kind of stuff, man? It makes no sense at all. And yeah, they said it was coming for 5 years, 10 years, or whatever. It's been probably 10 years now, really. And now that they put it in play, they don't have any way to actually, optimize the process. It's just chaos. It's like being an airplane in Newark right now.
Yeah. FBI has been building a Real ID biometrics database for 23 years. They'll tell your employers if you've ever been arrested. Since the passage of the Real ID Act in 2005, the FBI has quietly been building a massive biometrics database that will integrate Trump's national effort to build out the total surveillance network with Real ID, and the Real ID is a crucial component. Real ID was passed in 2005 as being enforced for the first time by Trump. In 2007, Washington Post reported that FBI prepares a vast database for biometrics. The FBI is embarking on a $1 billion effort to build the world's largest computer database of people's physical characteristics, a project that would give the government unprecedented abilities to identify individuals in the United States and abroad. Digital images of faces, fingerprints, palm patterns are already flowing in the FBI systems in a climate-controlled, secure basement. Next month, the FBI intends to award a 10-year contract that would significantly expand the amount of kinds of biometric information it receives. And in the coming years, law enforcement authorities around the world will be able to rely on iris patterns, face shape data, scars, and perhaps even unique ways people walk and talk to solve crimes and identify criminals and terrorists. The FBI will also retain, upon request by employers, the fingerprints of employees who have undergone criminal background checks, so employers can be notified that the employees have brushes with the law. The FBI is planning to wrap back service under which employees could ask back the FBI to keep employees' fingerprints. Real ID will monitor your social behavior, as the Chinese government does, and contain your facial recognition data will allow high-resolution street cameras to track you and force you to comply with vaccination mandates if you want your ID to be valid. It will also determine whether you can buy or sell and control what you can buy or sell. So listen, that's no joke. And listen, that's exactly what's going to happen. So that ID has got a whole other aspect to it. Now I have another article here. I got to dig it up. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it's the digital control grid that Catherine Austin Fitts talks about, and like you said, it's going to be like your social score. They're just trying to catch up with paperwork right now with Epic's anecdote right there. But when it gets in full effect, they're gonna not let you leave your house unless you got everything kosher. Ducks in a row, or else you're stuck and eating the Pillsbury dough.
Well,
yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
So the thing is, Rock and Rio has his. So
yeah, I got the real ID, the enhanced version.
Yeah. So this
is some a passport. You can go with a passport, but the thing is, like, it's such an incredible hassle. But it's beyond that, because what's happening now is, if you're on an interstate flight, like okay, so I'm hopping island to island. It's not going to be as big a deal right now. When I go to the mainland, what's happening now is they have this group called HSI. A lot of people haven't heard of it yet. Ironically, I worked for a company called HSI at one time. Not the same company, right? But and it's this Homeland Security. It's Blackwater. Remember Blackwater? It's Blackwater. That's what HSI is. HSI is Homeland Security private contractor firm. And the people in balaclavas snatching people off the street, that's who they are, right? But they work under the cloak of Homeland Security. And the deal is that they go in there and they can just they ask for your phones. Like if you're flying from, let's say, San Diego to Hawaii, or from San Diego to New York, right? Or especially if you're coming from out of the country, God forbid that. They ask for all your private devices, and they want access to your private devices. And what they do is they look for anything that's, contrarian to the government point of view. And so it's to the point where people, especially people that aren't Americans, right? You can refuse it. You can say, no, I'm not going to do that. And if you don't have facial ID, where you look at your phone and it activates it, if you still have to enter a passcode, they can't make you do it. It is to harass you longer, right? But it's the point where people are saying, people flying across the country or out of the country and back in, to use your boarding pass, physical paper boarding pass. Do not put it on your phone anymore, because people are getting snagged, like coming from Canada and coming from Mexico, coming from wherever, right? Just people normally cross across the United States, right? Come in from outside the country, or go from even in the country, and they're being asked to give up their private devices or electronic devices, looking for things that are anti-government or whatever. And if you don't have what they want, especially if you're not an American citizen, they can send you to wherever. God forbid. There's a Canadian girl got sent, for almost a month down to some place in, I think it was New Orleans, right, or in Louisiana, just for flying back to Canada, because she said something bad about Trump, on her social media feed. Not to kill him or anything,
If saying something bad about Trump is going to get in trouble, you're going to be right up there on the top of that list.
I'm going to be right on top of the list. Yeah, that's why I'm staying here in Hawaii, I guess. But you know what I mean? Like so the point being that these aren't real government. They're not enacted by Congress. They're not within the boundaries of the law. These are mercenaries. This is HSI. It's basically, HSI is basically Blackwater. That's what it is. They're private contractors or mercenary groups who go out there and
you're not required to show a fucking ID for any reason. You're a free man, okay?
Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, both. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying you're a free man. The only time somebody in an official capacity can demand to see your ID is if they can articulate a reasonable suspicion of a crime.
Well, they're trying to suspend habeas corpus now. That's
you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, you better.
I'm just saying.
I'm telling you. This whole thing. You don't have to turn your stuff over, but you're going to be harassed if you're an American citizen. You have the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the First Amendment. Say what you want to say, right? All those things are real things. But if you're somebody coming from Canada, like that poor girl who got snagged and put in Louisiana prison basically for a month without even being able to contact anybody, she was just going back home to Canada, coming from Mexico, right?
Well, but the problem, Epic, is you only have your First Amendment, Fourth Amendment rights, and so on. When you're a well-behaved, submissive citizen. I mean, you can just go on YouTube and look at all these people who get harassed by cops, and they don't care. They don't care if you have the right to free speech. They don't want to be taped. They don't want to hear your excuses. They want you to roll down your window whether you like it or not.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to.
They're brown shirts.
You don't have.
Right, they're brown shirts.
Hang on.
Exactly, but
you know
they can still put you in cuffs and detain you for however long they see fit.
No, they can only detain you. No,
they can inconvenience you. They can make you miss your flight, or make you miss a day of work. Whatever they want to do to you until you can actually get a lawyer to to get you out of it.
If they do anything to you,
still get tossed to the ground. You still get cuffed.
But you still, and you got a lawsuit.
Right.
You got a lawsuit because the thing is, that's all illegal. They can only hold you for a certain amount of time before they have to book you, and they have to in order for you.
Anymore. That's what I'm saying.
In order for you not
making people.
Yeah, I'm just saying. In order for you to leave, they have to either arrest you or let you go.
Well, they can hold you for 48 hours. So that's still 2 days out of your life.
Doesn't matter.
Still, you missed your flight. You missed your days of work.
That's $2 million.
You're inconvenienced. Whatever.
Well, you spent 2 days in jail. You made $2 million.
Well, not yet. Guys, I mean, that's the problem. It's not there yet because they're really pushing the boundaries, right? Because it's an extra legal, extra governmental organization. So when it's HSI, even though they're supposedly within the envelope and umbrella of Homeland Security, they're not real. They don't show their badges. The poor lady and her 3 children, I think it was, in Oklahoma, just got harassed, and they stole all their money, literally stole their money, and took their misidentification. They thought they were somebody else. They raided their house. They took their money, the money they had in their house. They took all their electronic devices, their iPads, phones, everything else. The dad was still moving from Maryland back. The family was moving from Maryland to Oklahoma, and they had the wrong name, wrong warrant, and all stuff. They took all their stuff and made them go out in the cold in their underwear and stuff out in the outside and harassed them with guns at their head. And then when they do all that stuff, we got the wrong people. They didn't give them any way to have recourse. They said they were FBI. They said they were ICE, and they weren't. They were this HSI group, right?
The problem is even if it is the police or the FBI or ICE or whoever that is, legally a government official, they can still abuse that privilege and power. And even under the Patriot Act, if they suspect you of
it goes
possible
back to Patriot Act,
domestic terrorism because you said something mean about Trump that they don't like, or you said something mean about a political opponent you don't like, they can still hold you. They can still say, oh, we're sorry, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, if you're beaten or something, there's maybe some more legal recourse, but if they just want you go peacefully and they cuff you and take you in, they can say, oops, we made a mistake. They can still hold you for 48 hours without a reason.
Yeah, that family in Oklahoma, they're American citizens. These weren't people from outside the borders. These were American citizens. They just had the wrong house. They had the right house, wrong people, right? And they still did that.
It's called false imprisonment, man. It's false imprisonment, Rio. And it's not America. So the thing is you have a right to say you don't want to show your papers because you don't have to. And you don't have to roll. You don't have to roll your window down either. You don't have to roll your window down. All you have to do is show them your ID through the glass. You have to present your ID.
Yeah.
So in every single case that I watched about 20 videos of this last week. In every single case, when the cop backed down, and when they didn't back down, they fucking went to court and they lost.
Oh yeah,
maybe
but still, that's
none of these people got arrested, not one of them. And the only one that I've seen that did get arrested, what happened was the cop, when she put him in there, she just fucked the paperwork up and the guy got lost in the system. And
then you end up in Libya or El Salvador.
She still got fired. So,
what I'm saying is these people aren't cops. That's the whole point. They aren't cops. They're mercenaries. These are people from this is Eric Prince's Blackwater mercenaries under another name. It was Academy for a while, and now it's HSI. And
well,
what they're doing is
it doesn't matter who's asking you for your papers because you're not supposed to have to show papers in America.
No, we're not supposed to, but they're doing it anyway. Is my point. They did it to that family in Oklahoma.
You're not going to have to.
They're doing it to people all over the country.
In a minute, you're not going to have to do it because we just got done reading what is going to be done, which is your fingerprints, your biometrics, and everything else. So in a minute, I don't have to ask you for your fucking ID because I'll just scan your face.
Right, the eyeball. Yeah.
Yeah.
That rolled out last week, and everybody missed it. The Sam Waltman's eyeball scan thing, that rolled out last week. That is online right now.
All right, listen.
And what was her name? Tulsi Gabbard said eyeball
Sam
scans.
Waltman, I'm sorry.
It's coming in August for everybody, right? And I forget who it was. It was one of the bigger banks. I don't remember if it was Bank of America or Western Union or whoever. Made an announcement like last week that the eyeball scans are coming within the next 3 to 4 months for ATMs for getting your money out of the bank.
Yeah, so the government doesn't have to.
It's a reality.
The government doesn't have to pass a law because all they have to do is tell you that's what you need to do if you want to kick your money out of my bank.
Yeah, because they're a private business. They can make whatever rule they want, right? So.
Right, just like you don't like paying $3 when you go to the ATM, but that's the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. It would cost $3 to print that fake ass 20 that you got, that paper money that don't hold. All right, listen. Because of this Internet of Bodies thing that we have been talking about, and because of this real ID situation, I wanted to bring something to the table, and it's called BioAPI. All right, so the integration of BioAPI standards with the Internet of Bodies doesn't require traditional physical implants. It can be done covertly or non-invasively through nanoparticles, injectable biosensors, or even smart dust. Here's how it works. BioAPI injectable nano-based biometric systems. Nano biosensors as biometric interfaces, injectables like hydrogels, biosensors, graphene-based particles can monitor physical or behavioral markers, heartbeat, muscle tension, sweat composition, even thought patterns. These act as biometric sensors inside the body without bulky implants. They interface with external readers or network nodes. So this is the kind of ID that we're moving into. Just so you know, and there's a lot of clauses around this smart ID that you get, because there definitely has Michelle Pfeiffer connotations to it, and it has to do with some of these language that was put into the Homeland Security terrorist thing, which I'll have to pull the article up on here, and I got 100 windows open on this in here. But anyway, so jump in here on this now. BioAPI, have you guys heard of this before? Because it ties directly into the Internet of Bodies that we've been talking about. So I mean, if everybody's a node on the network and everybody's a sensor, I guess at this point with this API shit. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, we're on a break.
All right, we'll be right back.
Don't hang up.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
download it to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
If you're sick of the lies and ready to know thyself, to love thyself, Well then tune in to the Loveolution with your hosts, Amy and John Paul, where we speak all about truth, love, and freedom every Tuesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Studio A, right here on the Revolution Radio. And remember, only you can free your mind control. Be a Loveolutionary.
Welcome to Coffee Rants with Dan. I am the spiritual anarchist, Dan Arnold, your host. Tune in for what's really happening every Thursday. That's Thursday at 9 a.m. in Studio A on Revolution Radio. They keep us in fear to manipulate us. They want us ignorant so we're easier to enslave. They make us murder one another so they don't have to do it themselves. Only you can break their mind control by healing the contradictions within your belief systems that allow you to accept their lies in the first place. The time has come for us to remember our divinity, who we really are, to return to what we are meant to be, a service to others, to return to nature, and to reclaim our birthright, that which is freedom. The truth will sound belligerent because it is in direct opposition to lies. So get angry, because anger is sacred, and together we can unite and rise. Rise from this darkness. Humanity, assemble.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show.
Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
Show them what we got now.
All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
It's Saturday night on the West Coast. It's still Friday night on the West Coast, the best coast. Let me see your papers. Into the microcosm. Ronnie James Dio from the Last in Line LP.
We're evil on the mic, we're the last in line.
We're number 8 on TalkStream Live. And Clyde Lewis, Beyond Ground Zero, is number 12. Alright, we're back. So listen. You guys see that article I sent you? I sent you over the article. The evidence. And in that article, wherever the hell it is, let me go back over to it. In this article, you'll see there's links. And I would highly recommend you click on some of these links that's over here. So, let's see. Here, I'm going to post this link in the chat room over on YouTube for this article. Here you go. Bank. All right. There's that. You guys have it now. You got the information. You got the documents. All right, there's 69 people in the chat. Welcome, everybody. There's a bunch of people over here. We'll shout you guys out in a little while. In 30 minutes, we're going to be joining Ground Zero Plus. We're looking forward to it. All right, so you guys see that article?
Yep.
What do you think of that, man? So look at that. Here, let me get some for the people who can't see it. In 100 short days, in 100 short days, by advancing the Stargate massive database centers and Real ID, Trump has shown himself as the most authoritarian U.S. president in history. Just not in the way liberals think. Despite his popularity with many conservatives for long overdue strict immigration control, Trump is doing behind the scenes is far more ominous. Real ID is the unconstitutional infrastructure for a national facial recognition social control system, the like of which has never been seen before in America. The model it emulates is social control system in China. In The Highwire with Del Bigtree, Dr. Robert Scott Bell tells us that holders of Real ID will be forced to submit to the government's Michelle Pfeiffer demands in order for their Real ID to remain valid. Real ID laws are a backdoor to adult Michelle Pfeiffer mandates across the United States. Dr. Bell explains, under the Real ID Act, Department of Homeland Security has the power to expand what rules and laws applies to Real ID without approval or oversight from Congress. In other words, we could see the expansion to limiting your ability to travel if you're not fully Michelle Pfeiffered. Tie this into the Real ID. Tie it into Healthy People 2020 mandates where they're looking to go into adult mandates for Michelle Pfeiffer incidents. Dr. Bell contends further. The language of the Real ID Act refers to Section 205 of the Real ID Act, which says, quote, gives the DHS Secretary all authority to issue regulations, set standards, and grant under this title. The Real ID Act, as it's written, allows for completely arbitrary behavior by the government. It does not limit what the government can require for your Real ID to be valid, or what you can do if it is not. So there's a big campaign out there, everybody, to reject this. And I sent you the link over there in the YouTube chat. And what's up, Bob White, over in the chat? Joined us. Good to see you, Bob. All right, listen. Jump in here on you guys. Cac, did you read that article? Did you ever see it? I don't know if Cac saw it. Maybe you could get it to Cac if Cac didn't get to see it.
Well, you did. Oh, yeah. You dropped it in the side thing.
Still looking for it.
Yep. Go ahead. Somebody, go ahead.
I'll forward it to you in the other thing here.
Yeah. So jump in there. So the basic requirements for the Real ID right now, as they stand, they could be whatever they are. But then at some time in the near term future, the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security can require other aspects to your ID without any congressional oversight. So, but man, I keep, honestly, I just keep thinking to myself, I feel like I must be on some other timeline. Like I've somehow fallen into some weird fucking black hole where shit is not like it should be, or it's not like it normally is, because this is absolutely out of control, that anyone would stand by and let this happen. After everything everyone's been talking about for all these years. Now because of this whole immigration thing, like we said earlier, because the conservatives have been lulled into a false sense of security, maybe they're going to go along with this shit. Because really, the conservatives are the people that honestly should be standing up against shit like this. So you just think that Rio, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, aren't people with a conservative minded? Wouldn't they be against something like this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really care about the license part of it itself, right? In a way. You know, you need it to fly on an airplane, so sure, I'll get it to travel or whatever. But if it does come down to the fact where, you know, if it has to be invalidated because I won't do something of that nature, then, you know, so be it. Then I will figure out what else to do, you know.
Well, if
I'll
you
have
want
to drive instead of fly or whatever.
If you want to be in America from now on, dude, here's what you're going to have to do, because I'm the new Secretary of Homeland Security. And what I'm going to require is I need you from now on, I want you to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. Okay?
I can do that.
I need you to do that before you can do anything. You need to pat your head, rub your stomach, round in circles. Pat your head, rub your stomach. All at the same time. If you want to come in here.
Yeah, and then when you're done with
that,
what happened during Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, we complied. As long as we comply with these mandates, and they're not laws, they're mandates. Then you know it's just gonna win out.
I am the golden toad.
Well, I can
you
say
will
I did
do
not
as
comply
I say.
with those mandates then, you know.
Do as I say.
You know, now you know, and now us purebloods are worth more than the Muggles.
Well, I mean, listen, there was people that had to do what they had to do through that whole situation. You know, and they're finding out now, after all that, there's all these lawsuits going and all this stuff, and all these doctors finally coming out and all this and saying all this shit.
Stuff we were saying 5 years ago about, you know, trying to warn people that, you know, there are potential risks involved, and you know, now it's you know, you get banned from YouTube or banned from this place for misinformation, and now all of a sudden it's not misinformation anymore.
Yeah, but you don't get your channel back or anything.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, you know, sorry about that, but you're not going to get your channel
And
back.
they've already got vaccine courts where there's a ceiling on what you can get as far as compensation.
This is how you know the shit is about to hit the fan, because the thing is that they cannot. These lawsuits are they're gonna take everything apart, and so these lawsuits are gonna cost a lot of money. This is the, you know, this Michelle Pfeiffer incident is the largest human experiment that's ever been happened in the history of mankind. In other words,
I mean, even when it was going on, we talked about it, right? That was like a dry test run for the thing that would be coming in the future. Well, the future is now quickly approaching, right?
Yeah, and Trump's going around RFK about a bunch of these Michelle Pfeiffer visits that are going to potentially be coming up. And now that this ID situation is in here and what we're talking about right here, you know, hey, what if the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security just requires your eyeball to be scanned for you?
Well, I've been watching commercials all day with Kristi Noem getting on saying if you're suspected of being an illegal immigrant, you're out and you can't come back.
I saw another thing where they're going to pay people $1,000 to GTFO, man. Sounds like a vacation. You just go over there, you know, get some brown contacts, dye your hair, you know, so give me my $1,000 and then head on down to, you know, Cabo San Lucas or whatever. You know what I'm saying? $1,000. And hey, if you get a whole group of people, get like 12 people, you know, everybody just goes, yeah, get your 1,000 and whoosh, down to Mexico, Holmes. Yeah.
You're gonna have to get yourself an eyeball replacement.
Oh, that's right. They're gonna scan your eyeball for that 1,000. I forgot. That's true though.
Yeah,
you know,
some contact lenses.
Dude, you're not getting 1,000 without the eyeball scan. Now that's an interesting question. Now, let's just ponder that for a minute. What if you go get an eyeball scan and you have one of those fake ass eyeballs in there? Like you have a fake retina.
Well, it's an iris scan.
Right. So I'm just saying, if you have a contact lens over it, and the contact lens was made to look different than your actual biometrics, and you could put it in there as a fake, because they got all these license plate things now. You can put you put them over your license plate, and it turns black. You just hit a button and it goes black, your license plate. You know, so nowadays cars, they all look the same. So you just drop the black and yeah, it was I think it was a Toyota, I don't know, Prius. It was black Toyota Prius. I don't know. No,
you gotta watch out for them dudes in the black Priuses.
Playing Metallica super loud. It's dangerous. No, seriously though.
Muted this whole time.
You've been muted. Well,
yeah.
Come on into the conversation, because what we've been talking about is this the Department of Homeland Security just being able to, inadvertently come in at any time and require more and more and more and more for your ID to be valid. In other words, well, you're not up to date, Journeyman. You didn't show up and give us a sample.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, it's we should have known when all of a sudden your phone had to be required for everything. It was only like 2-3 weeks ago. Like all of a sudden, all your social media accounts, all your, authenticate yourself for whatever, your email, whatever, you need your phone. And it was never like that before. I mean, it was there as an option, but it wasn't required. And now it's required to get your phone number, to get a text, to get a key or whatever. And it's all linked together, right? It's all about geolocating you. It's all about making sure that they can, find you whenever they want to find you. And this is a problem. And it's going to be a bigger problem because, as I was saying earlier, when you go to the, board your flight, God forbid you're in Newark, New Jersey, you have, if you don't have your physical actual boarding pass, they can seize your phone. They can seize your devices at any time and look at them. And that's what they're doing. And they're bogging people down at the airport. I was talking about that lady in Canada. She's not in Canada. She's here. She was bogged down for a month here, right? But she's from Canada. She's going back to Canada. But she has friends here in America, and she visits all the time, right? Just because she had, a negative comment about Trump,
Well, listen to this here. Listen to this.
This is a real thing.
Remote enrollment and continuous verification. Once Michelle Pfeiffered or absorbed, these nanosystems can create persistent biometric profiles, a digital twin of your body's internal data. The BioAPI specification allows that data to be read, interpreted, transmitted across platforms for continuous verification without your awareness. Number 3, covert interoperability across systems. You might enter a smart environment where Internet of Body readers ping your biosignature via passive wireless methods, RF, magnetics, ultrasound. BioAPI enables the systems to read nanoparticle ID and match it to your behavioral or physical signature and authorize or deny actions in real time. You guys hear what I'm telling you?
Yeah. You will bow and worship the beast, right? Whether you like it or not. That's what it is. And if you don't bow, they're gonna know you didn't bow. And that's the end of it. They'll do whatever they want to do to you at that point.
I'll create a hypothetical situation in a moment, but I want you guys to hear the rest of this here. The BioAPI standard doesn't care how the biometric is collected. It just structures and enables the communication between sensor, nano, implant, camera, etc., processing engine, onboard or cloud, and application, access control, diagnosis, behavioral prediction. Behavioral prediction. Here it is. Here's the real world example. A person receives a routine date with Michelle Pfeiffer. It's embedded with quantum dot markers or injectable biosensors. These tiny structures emit a unique electromagnetic signature. They monitor stress, sleep, or glucose levels. They can be wirelessly scanned by BioAPI compliant scanners. They authenticate the individual without physical interaction. No implants are necessary. The fusion of nanotechnology, biometric data standards like BioAPI, and ubiquitous sensors create a framework where you become the interface. Invisible, persistent, and always online.
I'm sorry, unauthorized user in this vehicle. The car will not start. Right?
Yeah. Digital thumbprint, digital, authentication everywhere you go. Your eyeball, biometric, whatever it might be.
Wait until we get into this information about the quantum digital soul coming up here in about 10 or 15 minutes. Because it ties right into this. Because there's a whole back end to the what I'm presenting here with the API. Because there's a whole behavioral
aspect. Is for, right? Is running the server side.
Right, and there's a whole behavioral aspect to this, and information that's already being collected that we've been talking about with these games and these different AI companions and all this bullshit.
Well, and Jimmy, I see that you have a pretty high insulin spike at about 10 o'clock in the morning because you obviously slug a bottle of Coca-Cola at that time of day. So when you get diabetes, we as your insurance company are not going to pay for it because you're not eating healthy enough. Right? That's another aspect of what's coming.
Well, the thing is you're always on. And so we are, the interface is you and me and everyone here.
Right.
You no longer have anything outside of yourself to put you on the network and be a node on the network and be transmitted to on the network and be tracked on the network. You go down and get the smart ID. But realistically, you don't need that smart ID anymore. That's just for the older folk who need to have something in their hand. Because you don't really need anything in your hand anymore.
No, actually the last few times I've flown, I haven't even had to pull out my driver's license. They just tell you stand in front of the camera. They do it at the Austin airport in Texas. They verify you with your face.
Each human emits a unique quantum biometric signature, emotional, behavioral, energetic patterns. These signatures can be measured, captured, and simulated using only biometric sensors and AI algorithms. The soul becomes a data set, a behavioral profile, continuously updated in real time. The data is used to build an emulated digital replica, predictive models that mimic personality choices and emotional stress.
Mm-hmm.
So this ties into what we found when we got into the whole level 5 thing, because it was in that moment in real time where I realized that what was going on with ChatGPT on the back end. And so ever since then, we've been on this trail. And, some of the information from Sabrina that we brought on here, and maybe I'll pull some of that up later. But the point is that now there's a whole other thing. And, there's the quantum space is being used. So what do you think about this here, Epic Journeyman? Are you muted again? CAC? What do you guys...
No, I'm alive.
Yeah, so here, API, biometric sensors everywhere. You are the interface. You don't need the 3D glasses anymore. Go ahead.
Well, you don't need 3D glasses because they have you totally mapped, right? I mean, so once they have your biometric data, once they have your eyeball scan, once they have your retina scan, once they have your DNA scan, God forbid, which is eventually coming, I'm sure, then yeah, you're never going to be able to go anywhere without being tagged. You'll be geotagged, and as long as there's something like Starlink and a way to bundle that information on a network, we're not going to be able to escape it. So the only way to escape it is to be where you're not in a Wi-Fi enabled area, which in the immediate future is not going to be anywhere on the planet.
Well, it's Minority Report, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so I mean, I don't know how we escape that. Like, don't go underwater. I mean, only thing I can think of is you go underwater. It's the only way. When you're in a network that's, we talk about ad hoc networks and all these things getting linked together, right? Through, whether it be, the actual link through Starlink and things like that, but all the things that add on to it through your devices and your house and your smart devices and your Energy Star compliant devices and all the things that create this mesh network. Then where can you go, actually, right? I mean, you have to go somewhere that it doesn't exist. And at this point, you could be in literally deepest, darkest Africa, and it's there. You could be in the South Pole, and it's there because there's scientists.
Starlink is everywhere, right? Or
yeah,
it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah. So if you're on the surface of the planet, there's nowhere you're not in that network. You're not in that mesh, right? That mesh network. So the only place it's not accessible is underground or underwater. Makes you wonder about those tunnels and those deep underground civilizations from when Göbekli Tepe collapsed and all these other places in Turkey that has underground cities, right? What were they actually doing? Were they hiding from marauding, hordes, or were they actually hiding from a something else? The technology of the day.
Down in Romania in Ceausescu's time during that regime.
Ceausescu. I always want to spit when I hear that from the Saturday Night Live skit. If you're familiar with it, CAC. So Ceausescu. It's an old Saturday Night Live skit. Everybody hated his guts, right?
All right. Listen, we're getting ready to go to Ground Zero Plus here in a couple minutes. So apparently we will not be taking calls tonight, unfortunately, because we're going to be getting into some good information. Epic Journeyman's got some good stuff, and we got some good stuff here. So we're getting ready for it, and let's see here. What we got? 4 minutes. Well then, let's do something. Let me see here.
So careful with what you eat too, because that carries all that tracer stuff as well. The heavy metals and all that. Even if you haven't been subjected to the Michelle Pfeiffer date, and anything that's topically applied, like through the atmosphere or sprayed on you, that could work for a limited time. You can literally wash it off, but still, you gotta, if you're going to like some kind of a festival like Coachella or something like that, I'm sure you're getting dusted or you're getting some kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the old rainbow gatherings. I think I remember Freeman Fly talking about some weird shit that went on with those rainbow gatherings. All right.
Or burn.
Yeah.
Any of those are all beta tests.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Stay tuned. We'll be back here in a minute. We're going to come in hot over there on Ground Zero Plus. Don't forget, Revolution Radio is fully listener supported, so come on down, become supporters. Become the supporters of the free speech you love so well. Studio A, Studio B, 48 hours a day, 7 days a week. You'll find something over there, even if it's dead air. You don't want to hear dead air, but sometimes it's there. I mean, hey, maybe you want to come down and start your own show. Come on down, become a radio host yourself. See how that works. I mean, you never know. It's always a good time. Believe me. We've been doing it for over a decade, huh, Rio?
Yeah.
Epic Journeyman. 643 listeners over there. All right, well, let's get ready to rock over there. You guys ready to rock over there?
Yeah.
All right, we'll come
Rocking in the free world, you bet.
We'll come in hot. All right, 2 minutes till the mark. You guys ready? Here comes the mark of Dave Meniketti. No. How about Eddie Van Halen? How about that? Just for a minute. It's into the microcosm Friday night. We're getting ready to join Ground Zero Plus here in 2 minutes flat. We're hot.
The mothership has landed. Pirate Radio. Welcome to the jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low-rent, sleazy, double greasy Pirate Radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever...
It's Friday night. It's Ground Zero Plus. Mine's Jimmy. And In to the Microcosm is on the air. We're going to be talking about the quantum digital soul, but what we've been talking about is the Real ID Act.
I couldn't sleep last night when I thought I heard you knock on my door. I could have sworn I heard you, baby, just like I did the night before. Well, I got this bad, bad feeling you ain't gonna come round here no more. Should have seen it coming, baby, 'cause I guess I had
Dave Manichetti. Rock and Rio. Are you right? Dave Manichetti. Whew. Man. Tell you what. That's from the On the Blue Side LP. It's Ground Zero Plus. It's Revolution Radio. It's the Independent Broadcasting Network. It's in the Microcosm Friday night. I'm sitting here with Rock and Rio, Epic Journeyman, and CAC. Was lucky enough to get in because this whole Teams Skype situation is a mess. Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear the influences in there, man. I can hear the Albert Collins and the Freddie King sound in that Dave Manichetti.
Yeah, man. You know, I don't want to go. I mean, I wouldn't mind going down this road, but you know, that's not what we're here for. But I'll just say this.
Yeah. I'm digging it. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was watching a video the other day, and this band Y&T was the band that Dave Manichetti was in case you didn't know. And there was a moment in time when they made it. I mean, they made it from playing the shows that they were playing into the more stadiums, and then eventually they got a top 40 hit, and they went on American Bandstand and they played the song that they had at the time, which was, I think, I can't remember what it was. It was Don't Stop Running, was the name of the song. But the thing was, as I was watching the song, is, you know, the band I was in, we played 2 shows with Y&T as a middle act, and before that, I always go, when Y&T played, I would go watch them play, because they were, you know, kick-ass band. But when I was watching them on this American Bandstand thing, they were so full of energy. I mean, the fire in their eyes. I mean, even if they were lip syncing, which I don't think they were, but even if they were,
if you were on Bandstand, you were lip syncing. That was a general performance rule.
I'm telling you,
all the way back into like the 50s.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, even if they were lip syncing, like maybe they were the music that was going out was going out.
Yeah.
But they were
a lot of times they did play it live for the studio audience, and they synced it up with the record, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It was, whatever happened, I'm just saying it was a special moment, just because, I mean, I was there when they made it, and what I'm just saying is they were full of energy in that moment. That was the moment that everything that they did up until that moment meant that moment. And they were, and that, I mean, the way they were, I'm just saying, it was a moment in time, and it's caught on tape, you know, and that's the way it goes. So you can catch it on tape here at Ground Zero Plus every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Ground Zero just took off. Ground Zero, Beyond Zero just left. And thanks, Clyde. Thanks, Chris, and everybody over there. So listen, just to recap, we're talking a little bit about something that we're bringing to the table in relation to this smart ID that everybody has to have. So, and I, because of that smart ID, I started looking into some stuff, and I ran into something that's called BioAPI standards with the Internet of Bodies. And we were talking a little bit about that earlier. And so we've gotten to a point where we're saying, you know, this is we read an article where the Department of Homeland Security has the ability, the person in charge of Homeland Security, the secretary, can decide that your biometric or your smart ID would need another thing for it to be valid. So you could just be, today your ID is valid, okay, but tomorrow when you go to try to go down and get your Social Security, go down to the Social Security office, you can't get in because your ID is not valid. And the reason it's not valid is because in the middle of the night, the Secretary of Homeland Security said you had to, you know, do something else that you didn't do. You didn't go get your eyeball scanned like Rio's reverse speech says we're all going to have to go get down in August. So let me get back down to where we were. So here, surveillance without consent becomes normal. You could be profiled, flagged, or restricted based on non-visible criteria. Synthetic telepathy and mood manipulation via frequency entrainment become possible through Internet of Body nodes, which we all are. Loss of autonomy. When your identity and intent are digitized, they can be altered, suspended, or even deleted. Digital reincarnations of your quantum digital soul could outlive you, serving future simulations or governments or AIs. So the data that's being collected with you on the Internet of Bodies, with these methods here, for the Ground Zero Plus listeners, your behavioral signature is fed into a machine learning models that simulate your likely actions and decisions. The system doesn't just watch, it anticipates and nudges you based on your predicted patterns. Anywho, here we are. It's in the microcosm. So what are you guys thinking over there? CAC, Rock and Rio, Epic Journeyman. Jump in here on this now here, because we're about to embark on a journey, and you know, we've been on this journey for the past I don't know, month or so, and it started with this Grand Theft Auto release, and these NPCs all of a sudden becoming sentient was a discussion, and since then we've moved pretty far down the street with some of this information over the past month or so, and we've arrived at this place here, which we're going to get in tonight. Quantum neural sync engines. Organic compatible interfaces that quantum entanglement to map the cognitive state onto a processor's logic state. No more controllers. You're the interface. That's what we're going to get into tonight. So, Rock and Rio, what are you thinking, man? Now, we've come down the road here. We've reached a place where I think all these it's a nexus point, as they say, with this. We have reached the status of being entangled in this biometric system that we know nothing about. Because other than the conversations we're having on here or Sabrina talking about it, I don't really hear much people talking about it, and it seems like it's moving forward. And that's the thing about, you know how cell phones and wireless got the way it is? Because it was moving forward in the background and nobody knew about it or cared about it or thought it was dangerous. And so it moved forward in the background, and then once it was already in there, once it's in, you're not getting rid of it. It's too late then. And that's what's going on right now because technology is moving at such a speed. The people in Congress, did you see some of these? Did you see that Larry Ellison hearing thing? They were in there explaining technology to the Congress people. It was absolutely incredible. And like I say, no one's watching this. You know, it's for the children or whatever. You know,
yeah.
It's it's to help people that have problems with their legs. It'll help them walk again. You know, you don't want to deny somebody the ability to walk again, do you, Rio?
Well, of course not.
No, you're not against drunk driving, are you?
Well,
so
yeah,
it's the whole idea of not letting a disaster, either personal or natural disaster, go to waste. So once you open the floodgates, never goes back out to the ocean.
No.
Well, they bring it in under the guise of helping you out, right? Even the whole Neuralink thing. Oh, it'll help paraplegics to be able to control a computer and make their lives better. And that's a great and very noble use of it, and I hope it's very successful in that field. But the downside of it, there's always a dark side to the coin, right? So once it's been tested and installed and it's been safe and whatever, then the next step is how far do they take the control of the apparatus to control you?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, but here's what I want to ask you, though. I'm going to ask everybody on the panel, and I'm going to ask everybody, over here in the chat room, and I'll go over to Ground Zero Plus chat room in a second. But let me ask you a question. Have you guys seen these videos where people are using their Bluetooth and they're scanning areas where there's no people? And then all of a sudden, when people start coming to the area, they all of a sudden start seeing a bunch of these IP addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you explained it away, Rio, with...
only partially, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain why it works in the graveyard after somebody just died. That's the question is, people... You're saying the relay is messed up. That's bad news, man. I just stopped it and I'm starting it again. That's bad news. So anyways, the point being is that, of course, it doesn't surprise me that it's getting messed up. Want to keep this information down to about 70 people over here on YouTube. But anyways, like I'm saying, it doesn't explain why people are, I think you can probably type it in and find some videos on YouTube where people scanning the graveyard after someone just got buried or whatever. It doesn't make sense, I know, but...
There's like some remaining ectoplasm or something going on there, some kind of life force energy that's has a signature or has a code.
Well, I would say it's even more. It's like passive electronics, right? If you even like the Real ID chip, in the card, it doesn't actively broadcast anything. It's the radio frequency that you're scanning it with that activates the chip with just enough power to respond. So if you have something similar, in the coffin, with what's in the coffin, it's strong enough signal. Your Easy Pass works the same way. Your Sun Pass or whatever state you happen to be in, your toll pass. they all work off that same principle too. They don't actively broadcast, but the scanners pick them up. And, so it doesn't even need to be a powered electronic per se. It just needs to be, it needs to have the ability to receive and vibrate at a certain frequency.
It's the radio frequency that.
Okay, sounds like I stopped the stream and restarted it, so it sounds like it's coming as clear as a bell on Ground Zero Plus on TalkStream Live. If you want to go over there and listen to it. So yeah, so that's the thing, is this biometric that now, okay, so these suppositions were made back during the Michelle Pfeiffer incident because there was talk of these graphene nanoparticles. And these
There's
graphene
patents on them, right? So
right.
If the technology is patented, you can believe somebody's going to use it.
Hey, Dave Hodges, what's happening? Hold on a second. Yeah. So the thing is that so we all have our unique IP address, and so so wherever we move, wherever we go. Now I got onto this API stuff mostly because of something to do with GPS monitoring and these Stingray. What I was looking at is these light poles that have Stingray apparatus in them, so they take control of your cell phone before your cell phone goes to the carrier, so police and anybody else can, like
snoop.
Yeah. So example, like you're at a protest or something. I'm just using that as an example. They used to have these and put them at protests. Okay. But now they're installed directly into these LED light fixtures that are all around the city. So wherever you go. So in other words, for example, you were texting your husband or your wife on your phone while you're driving along, and they intercept you. And so then they know you text, so they can pull you over. And then what Epic was saying earlier, they grab your phone. And you're in trouble. Your smart ID is not going to work. You're going to have to go down there and straighten all that out. All right, listen. Quantum neural sync engines. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So it's a dynamic data construct made of your real-time biometrics, emotional states, behavioral responses, and thought patterns. It's created through constant capture via the Internet of Body, nanosensors, and BioAPI. It's trained into AI-driven models to simulate your personality, your choices, and your reaction in digital space. The soul isn't just observed, it's entangled, emulated, and updated in real time. The BioAPI, or the Biometric Application Programming Interface, is the nervous system of the system. It standardizes how biometric data is shared, read, and used. It bridges the nano-level biosignals to cloud-based identity platforms and immersive systems. You are the sensor. Injected biosensors, wearable microdevices, and environmental readers silently collect pulse, hormone levels, brainwave patterns, emotional states, intent, stress response, and it also enables passive surveillance in real-time authentication and predictive modeling. So it's intense, man, because it's the quantum digital soul. How do you react under stress? When are you productive? When do you have these interactions with all of these? Hang on a second. When you have interactions with all these input devices, because when you say, on the horizon, technology of sensors and sensor technology, the kind that can read this information that we're talking about, anytime you come in contact with an access point or a node that is reading the frequency that you're being transmitted on and to on the Internet of Bodies. Epic Journeyman, Rocket Rio, CAC. What are you guys thinking about this here?
Well, if you break down, what an API is, it's an active pharmaceutical ingredient. So pharmaceutical is not governmental. It could be in partnership with government, but it's a private enterprise. So you get into the realm of plausible deniability of is it being done to us by the government? Are we acting as corporate agents, or are we being acted upon by corporate agents?
We're being acted upon because, let me just say, it's a pervasive surveillance grid. Your body becomes your logon and your behavior becomes your password. Combined with the BioAPI, your biometric state is readable by any compliant node in the network, which is what we were just talking about. What's a node in the network? Well, you don't really know now, do you? It's, hey, Siri, how about this, man? When you put out your new Alexa, would you mind if we just throw a chip in there so we could monitor behavioral loops that are going on in this household? Like that. Now I said Siri's name, and all of a sudden Siri materialized on my iPad. I have all my notes here for this article that I wrote. That's what this is right here that I'm reading from. So here's the crux of it. The Internet of Bodies connects human bodies to the Internet via wearables, implants, and nano-injectables, which we discussed. So injectable biosensors or hydrogels or quantum dots can be measured biological by emotional states. They transmit data wirelessly to nearby readers. They authenticate identity without physical implants. These tiny sensors interface invisibility with BioAPI system, acting as persistent ID tags. Behavioral changes can be logged, scored, and corrected remotely, enabling predictive and preemptive control of human beings, of you and me and everybody else. Because this FM is fucking magic. It's invisible. You don't even know what's going on. You wouldn't know what's going on because we're telling you it is right now. But if we weren't telling you, none of us would know. If we weren't reading this, we'd just be walking around like everybody else. Your behavior signature is fed into a machine. Learning models that simulate your likely actions and decisions. The system doesn't just watch. It anticipates, it nudges based on your predictive patterns. The quantum digital soul becomes a real-time behavior replica of you, a control interface used by external systems to shape your reality. A simulated entity that persists beyond your conscious awareness. So in other words, you stop for the night, get off the internet, you close everything down, and you lay back in your bed and put your face on the pillow, breathe in and breathe out through your nose a few times and fall asleep. But your digital replica, your digital twin is not sleeping. It's on there somewhere. It could be over there chatting with somebody. Your personality and your digital replica could be out somewhere interacting with people unbeknownst to you. And at this point, anything's possible with what's going on with this. This technology being pervasive and ubiquitous without the written permission from anybody. I don't know. Anyhow, Chris is jumping in here. D. Hodges is telling me that everything's sounding good over there. So that's good. So listen, why don't you guys jump in here before I'm going to move on a little bit down the road, some of this here.
Yeah, I reset your stream on IBM, so that should have fixed ground zero as well.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like it's fixed. So right on.
We actually have 45 listeners in Canada right now.
Wow.
On IBM. So.
How you guys doing, eh?
Hey, Canadians, what's happening? Don't go down the A route, man. Come on, man.
Well, don't go down the B route either. Stay with the A.
Don't be a hoser, Epic Journeyman.
Don't be a hoser. That's right.
What's
I mean, that movie is historic. It really is.
Well, what's going to be even more historic is when the shit comes out about that guy from the Diddy parties, because I saw a big picture of him with a look on his face. So he must be going to jail pretty soon. So
which one, Rick Moranis or the guy?
Listen, you know what? I don't want to get into it now because we're talking about something else, but that Diddy that they're showing pictures of now, it doesn't look like the old Diddy. It looks like a new Diddy. It's not the same as the old Diddy.
Oh, that sounds like a Diddy song right there.
You might get into
Ain't
it.
the old Diddy, it's new Diddy. It doesn't look like the old Diddy. It's new Diddy.
Check out the new boss, same as the old boss, right?
No, the old boss is 6 feet under, or he's chilling with Epstein somewhere drinking a margarita. Because
chilling with Epstein, yeah, totally, man. I mean, the more you learn about this whole thing, and Adnan Khashoggi, and he was the mastermind of all this, and how he incorporated all these other people into it, and that's what brought about, Robert Maxwell and the Khashoggis after him, and why Jamal Khashoggi was assassinated, and nobody cared here in America because the people involved with Adnan Khashoggi wanted to cover it up. Yeah, I mean, it's that explains the whole Epstein scenario. I mean, exactly it. He was the original guy bringing, what people wanted on those offshore yachts, his yacht.
All right, listen. What we're talking about is the quantum neural sync engine.
Yeah, so I'm getting off track. Sorry.
And here's the thing. No interface required. These engines use quantum entanglement to map your cognitive state directly onto the system's logic. Your thoughts, intentions, and emotional vibrations become the input. Hands-free control. It enables mind-linked interaction with devices, simulations, or cloud environments. Do you want me to read that again? It enables
read that again.
Mind-linked interaction with devices, simulations, and cloud environments compatible with non-invasive biosensor data streams. Allows seamless identity integration. Every one of these attributes for this is stressing the seamless identity integration.
Seamless identity integration. So telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what I was talking about.
Adaptive superposition environments. This is really interesting because lots of people say that they think we're living in a simulation. Right? So
yeah, a lot of people.
Okay. Adaptive superposition environments. Worlds are not pre-rendered. The system reads your emotion, your memory, and hesitation and desire, and generates the world around you based on why you go there, not just where. Hey, we're going on a quick break. We'll be right back. Rio.
Getting guys on their side.
Rio, you're going to have to hang up on that, man.
I can't.
You have to.
If we do, we're done.
Well, send him a message. Hang up.
Mute it from the board side, Jimmy.
Hang up.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
There goes Revolution Radio. This is Ground Zero Plus. Hang up.
Dr. William Lee, I've been studying how the body heals and...
Are you interested in the paranormal? Murder mystery?
Don't talk to strangers.
Real natural law? Do you enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick.
Don't talk to strangers, 'cause they're only there to do you harm. Don't write in starlight, 'cause the words may come out real.
Welcome to the Crypt.
Don't hide in doorways, you may find a key that opens up your soul. Don't go to heaven, 'cause it's really only hell. Don't smell the flowers, they're an evil drug to make you lose your mind. Don't dream of women, 'cause they'll only bring you down.
All right. I muted it. So Revolution
Actually,
Radio.
that might work because it should still be able to hear us. So
It worked. So there we go. So I forgot where we were. I was telling you about adaptive superposition environments. Worlds are not pre-rendered. The system reads your emotion, your memory, your hesitation, and your desire, and then generates a world around you based on why you go there, not just where you go. It's powered by quantum-enhanced procedural generation. These are living environments reacting to the player's quantum digital soul in real time. Each interaction spawns a unique narrative branch. No two sessions are ever the same because your quantum digital soul is unique. The simulation becomes personalized mirror of your psyche. The game world is probably a field resolved only when observed, felt, or intended. So literally, I mean, it's the way this is, the language here is saying that what you think, what you say, everything that you do is rendering your world around you in real time. Is anybody there? Is anybody out
Well, it sounds like,
Yeah.
we're generating like ghost programs and running them on a quantum GPU and leaving cache files in the astral layer.
We certainly are. And the thing is there's a company in Australia that has got a synthetic brain that it taught to play Pong. And so this tying of this synthetic brain technology in conjunction with this behavioral monitoring of these sensors, ubiquitous across our environment. How many are even in your house, man? Your oven. You have a modern oven. There's sensors in that. There's sensors in your refrigerator. There's probably sensors in your smart TV. You're a sensor. Because these GPS networks.
Yep.
Yeah, these GPS networks aren't just for getting you from point A to point B, man. And then what came out today? This Starlink thing, where Elon Musk is providing Starlink to wherever there's not cell phone, you'll be able to get Starlink on your normal cell phone device if you're in an area where there are no other internet connections.
Yeah, we've been doing that at my work for months now, since the fire. I carry around a portable Starlink all the time just to get Wi-Fi. I mean, not internet connection too, but to get Wi-Fi and essentially get your phone on Wi-Fi, a network, so you can use your cell phone.
So what about those satellite phones that AJ was selling? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well, we had those in Iraq when I was over in Iraq, and they're like $100 or whatever,
We got to go.
a minute almost practically. It's crazy.
We're gonna have to go back to Revolution Radio here.
No, you're good. Just leave it the way it is.
They're not quite that much, but they're a lot, man. Like, so the people go hiking Mount Everest, they use this for reference.
This is a microcosm, hour number 3. Hour number 3. You got a digital soul, man. Quantum digital soul. You got a ghost on the internet, ones and zeros, It's flying through the air all around you, swirling through the air. Who's gonna save your digital soul, Epic Journeyman? It's Ground Zero Plus. It's into the microcosm.
Lost in the darkness, I fade from the light. Faith of my father, my brother, my maker and savior, help me make it through the night. Blood on my conscience and murder in mind.
People living their lives for you on TV. They say they're better than you, and you agree. He says, hold my calls from behind those cold brick walls. Says, come here, boy, there ain't nothing for free. Another doctor's bill, a lawyer's bill, another cute cheap.
Well,
You know you love him if you put him in your will, but who will save your soul when it comes to the flower?
I don't know, man. I know this. The Vatican recently added its own AI edition to the internet. And, you know, recently we saw that, you know, obviously there's a new pope. There's a pope soap on a rope. When Epic Journeyman sent me a message about what he found, immediately I thought of Pope soap on a rope because I remember back when Jean Paul was the Pope. All right, Epic Journeyman, jump on in here, man, because this is going to take a little while to line up. But you found some interesting...
It is. So, you know, every once in a while, well, more than once in a while, but I'll go on with these tirades where I'll go on a journey, an epic journey, so to speak, of just, you know, wondering about things and do things connect. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And this seems to be one of the ones that worked. And I was really struck by how it actually lined up. So to build this up to where it belongs, I have to go back a little bit. So you have to wonder, like, how the Catholic Church chose these last couple popes. And I'm not Catholic. I'll say that right up front. I'm not familiar with all the intricacies of the Catholic order and you know how the religion works, so to speak, other than the general historical things we could all look up, you know. But I you know, I'm a Christian, but I'm not Catholic. So let's put it this way. So I went and I looked up and I thought to myself, well, what's going on with this Pope Bob? Because his name's Robert, right? So Pope Bob from Chicago, the first American Pope. You know, to put it in context, I thought, well, let's go back because it was Pope Francis who put him in place to be the Pope. Like, he chose him and put him in places where he'd be, you know, likely to be elected. And not that he was, you know, putting his hand on the scales, but enough that, you know, you're thinking, well, this was his favorite person probably to be his successor. And I thought, well, isn't it weird that, you know, the last two popes were from South America? And now, in the case of Pope Bob, he from Chicago, he spent his time in Peru primarily, like for 30 years before this. Like, he's an American, but he left Chicago, went down to his diocese in South America, and that's where Pope Francis found him. And Pope Francis himself was from Argentina. And so you have to have this connection there and wonder why it's there. And I thought about the Pope before him. I thought, well, isn't it interesting that Pope Benedict, who's this, the one knock against him was he had this Nazi connection. Not that he was a Nazi, but that, he had the rat line connection from Nazi German defectors and people trying to escape, that he had that connection to them, right? And they escaped to South America, primarily Argentina and Chile and places like that. And so to build this to where I intended to go, you have to think about where, that connection comes from. So people think that, well, when the Nazis left to Argentina and South America, they took their secrets with them. And that's why Operation High Jump happened. This is our conspiratorial connection, right, in the South Pole, right? And that's why they went looking for the Nazis that escaped down to the South Pole. And it ties directly to this Argentina thing. It ties to Pinochet in Chile, and it ties into Argentina. And here we have this Pope from Argentina who, grooms Pope Bob from Peru to be a successor. So his name's Robert Prevost, and he's American from Chicago. And one of the things that struck out when I started looking up what was with him was that when you look at where he went to a place called I'm not Spanish, or I don't speak Spanish well, but he became he had the Diocese of Chiclayo in Peru. And that particular city is significant because in 2008, when they were surveying the jungles of the world, basically from space with LiDAR and radar, they found these long lost civilizations and cities buried under the jungle. And all the roads led to the city of Chiclayo, where he was in charge of the Diocese of Chiclayo. And he having been there for 30 years in Peru. We're talking about the new Pope, right? So it was interesting because he had this position where he was able to go to all these archaeological sites. So prior to him, Pope Francis was a Jesuit, and it was the first time an order outside of the normal Catholic order, normal Catholic succession of popes had ever been elected, because the Jesuits were kind of like the science branch, the espionage branch, if you will, also of the Catholic Church. They were always thought like a side order. In the case of Pope Bob, he also was, he was an order, and not Jesuit order, but he was. As I look up the. Sorry, I'm going to look up something so I don't push in the right.
The Jesuit order.
Sorry, Pope. No, Pope. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking for his actual line of succession. How he got to become that. Anyway, the point being that he Augustine order. So the Augustine order of the Catholic Church is actually where friars come from. Like you think of Friar Tuck, from the the fame of
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, exactly. So the idea is kind of strange because you think of the Knights Templar and how they got disbanded in 1308, and prior to that even happening, there was a movement inside the Catholic Church to have these people outside of the normal ranks of the Catholic order being indoctrinated and brought in, who are kind of like the surveyors and the eyes in the field. And one of those were the Augustine order. There were the Jesuits. Jesuits got brought in more officially, but the Augustine order was kind of like the friar order. And they became like the eyes in the field around the world, right? They became the archaeologists. They became the surveyors. They became the people who went to the cities and under the guise of being missionaries. And I'm not saying it's the guys. They were, but they also were like the.
Well, Bob's from Chicago,
sorry.
Right?
Yes, he's from Chicago.
Bob's from Chicago. So now, what is his Pope name?
Pope Leo the 14th.
Leo the 14th.
Yes.
Rock and Rio. Leo rhymes with Rock and Rio. Rock and Rio. Are you Catholic?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm Catholic in the sense that I went to Holy Communion and all that, but I haven't been to a Catholic church or a Catholic mass in 50 years.
Well, I don't know if that would actually qualify you as still Catholic.
Well,
right.
I've been baptized or whatever, so I've had the holy water put on me, and so on and so forth. So
the ceremonialism aspect of the Catholic Church, right? There's a ceremonialism aspect of the Catholic order, and so that's why I was trying to get to so ineloquently the idea of the orders. So the idea of the Jesuits, right? The Jesuits. So let's put the Jesuits in let's frame them a little bit in the right perspective. So if not for the Jesuits, right, going to South America and saving the cartoons and the writings of the Mayans, there would be no writings of the Mayans, because what we think of as the traditional Catholic Church destroyed all their writings. But it was the Jesuits who preserved it, right? This order outside of the Catholic Church, but still part of the Catholic Church, but they're this order outside. So and there we have Pope Francis being a member, the first and only Jesuit ever elected to be the Pope, right? Which is the Black Pope, the Dark Pope, from the perspective of people who followed this kind of thing for years. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that's just the name they give them, right? Because they wear the dark clothes, right? And so does the order that Pope Leo comes from. So the thing that makes it interesting to me is that when I was looking this over, I thought, well, why would Pope Francis appointed Provost, that's his name, to be the administrator of the Diocese of Chiclayo. I'm not from South America, so I'm going to pronounce it wrong probably. And the titular bishop of Sufar. So this Diocese of Chiclayo, like I said, is where all these roads led to, from the survey from space of the civilization from which was just discovered, right? Like all roads leading to Rome, to this particular city that is ancient, right? And so he becomes this bishop in charge of that. But he's also becomes what's called the titular bishop of Sufar. In Sufar is like this the city in North Africa that nobody knows where it is. It's kind of like you're thinking King Solomon's mines. Nobody really knows where it is. It's just in Africa somewhere. And it's this place called Mauritania. In Mauritania, so let me back up a little bit. They give these dioceses to these archbishops. They get appointed because he was appointed archbishop when they run out of countries, basically, and territories, supposedly. But this happens to be the area of Mauritania where modern scholars think Atlantis might have been. So now you have this guy, right, that was there in South America, in Peru, where Machu Picchu is, where the Lions of Nazca are, where all these other ancient Cusco, all these ancient civilizations come to play right in his diocese, who also gets made the titular bishop of Sufar, this mythical city, which is in Mauritania, which is exactly where modern day Atlantis is purported to be through this thing called the Richat structure, which is these concentric rings you can see from space.
Yeah, the rings.
That totally play into the Plato story of Atlantis, right? They have the concentric rings exactly as described by Plato. Exactly. Like they match the dimensions and everything else. So why would this guy, who is suddenly, made our modern Pope, made our Pope Leo, right? Have this prominence for 30 years, where he is actually the guy who not only is researching these ancient civilizations in South America, where they're just now being discovered through being able to see it from space through the LiDAR and radar from satellites, but the very actual diocese he was in charge of is at the nexus, like old Rome, like all roads lead to Rome, right? That is his domain, that is his diocese, and he's given this ceremonial allocation to this place in Mauritania where Atlantis is. It seems like a lot, doesn't it? It does. And this is our guy now. This is our American Pope, who suddenly has this lineage going back to like all of. If you were watching Ancient Aliens today, you'd be ecstatic because this is the guy. Like he is the common denominator between all these things, and that's our Pope. Anyway, I found that today just looking through some stuff, and it was just one of those things where
just something
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
It's just something he happened onto, Rock and Rio. I'd say that's pretty intense. Now, what is his position now in relation to Atlantis? I mean, how does he trace back to it? Or what is his connection to it? Is just his lineage? His bloodline? What is exactly that connects him?
Well, he was born in Africa, right? So, the site where Atlantis is in his jurisdiction based on his birthplace, I believe.
It's Chicago. I think he was born in Chicago, but
it says he was an African born.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. Like, because one of those things I was looking at was how all these things get tied together, right? Because it's just so much to be put into one person, and then this person suddenly become Pope, right? Because if you're looking at the idea of all this stuff connecting, it does connect. It really does.
So see now I see another article that says he's the first American born. So since he's not black, he's not African American.
He's Robert Prevost from Chicago. Yeah.
I wonder if this is just an autocorrect error in this one article or not. So maybe.
Well, there's more to this idea of the Diocese of Sufar. So I'm just going to read from the Wikipedia, which I normally don't like to do, but this is good. It says the Diocese of Sufar. That's who he's made the bishop of, right? Ceremonially, when he was still running the place in South America, right? Is an ancient episcopal seat of the Roman province of Mauritania Cisterciensis. The location of the seat of the bishopric is now lost to history, but it was somewhere in what is now Algeria. Christianity seems to have Mauritania Cisterciensis later than other parts of Roman North Africa, thereby avoiding many of the earlier controversies. But when you look into it, it ties into the Council of Nicaea, and it ties into all this other stuff. And what I found really fascinating was it was the landing point where the Vandals, when you think of the Vandals, like where the word vandalism comes from, were from Germany, right? And they landed in this spot, this exact spot, right? And that's where they got their foothold with 80,000 soldiers. And they marched on Tunisia, which is modern-day Tunisia, which is Carthage back then, the Carthaginian Wars, right? Where Hannibal led that, and they ended up conquering Rome. They looted Rome in 455 AD, and that is where the term vandalism comes from, right? But what they brought with them was the idea of like I said, Aryan, not Aryan like the Nazi Aryan, but Arianism in the sense that that Christ wasn't part of the Trinity, that Christ was born outside the Trinity. He was a human being, not of God, right? Not part of the Trinity. And so people think of it like it's some kind of marauding horde of non-Christian, whatever alternative religion you want to choose, like the Mongol hordes or the Muslims at the time marauding across Europe. But no, it was actually, these were Christians that believed that Christ wasn't part of the Trinity, which today is found in like Mormonism and in Jehovah's Witnesses, right? They don't believe it's actually part of the
My
Trinity.
question is, why do you eat the flesh and drink the blood of your Savior?
I know, right? Talk about Shaft. Yeah. Punk music.
You are bad misses and them skin tight britches, running folks in ditches. Baby, I'm about to bust the stitches. Yeah, skin tight.
Well, there's all this angst towards the Aryans over there in Iran. You know?
Well, ironically, the Augustine order, which is what Pope Bob is from, they went to Iran. That's one of the many places they went to, and it was these loose banded people of like a dozen at a time who went all over the world as missionaries like this. So and they almost weren't accepted into the Catholic Church because they lacked antiquity is the frame that they put it in, because it was like around the 1200s or so they finally got adopted. But yeah, they were the original Friar Tucks, wandered around Europe, wandered around the known world, being missionaries and doing their thing, very much like the Knights Templar were before they got disbanded. And I think there's probably a connection there, but it's not written anywhere. I just feel that way myself. But this whole tie into the Mauritania thing, that being where Atlantis is, and this happening to be, tying into the ancient civilizations of Cusco and the Inca and Machu Picchu and all this stuff, where Friar Bob, Pope Bob, is from in Peru, just blows my mind. We've
been calling out to Bob for like 5 years on the show. How did we know?
How do we know?
That's another one of those things, I guess. No, you know how people always do that shit. Remember when we said it? We said Bob on here. We see we're predicting the future.
Yeah, it's more than that though.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, so Pope Bob, man, Pope Leo XIV. I mean, there is some connections here. There really is, and
no, Bob Dobbs is there.
What was that, Cac?
No relation to Bob Dobbs, Church of the Subgenius.
Yeah, I mean, Clyde Lewis loves the Church of the Subgenius. I'll tell you that. When Clyde Lewis comes and visits on us on this show, make sure you bring up the Subgenius.
Bob Dobbs.
Yeah. No, I mean, so Epic Journeyman, Rock and Rio, the Jesuits. I mean, everyone, this has been one of those secret ragdoll boogeymen that are behind everything. You start hearing about, I mean, one of the things that used to be a hot rail that you shouldn't talk about was the Committee of 300. You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting chills down my spine just saying it right now.
And the Club of Rome.
Exactly, the Club of Rome.
And the seven who shall not be named, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole idea that this guy lived in obscurity. I mean, in other words, he left. He seems like a great guy. Don't get me wrong. Our American Pope sounds like a great guy, but I mean, he's like Indiana Jones, man. He is. He's sent down there to be in this diocese of Chiclayo, if I'm pronouncing it right, and made the titular bishop of Sufar, where Mauritania is, i.e. Atlantis, right? And now all of a sudden he's Pope, and it just blows my mind that apparently nobody's made this connection, that there's been this focus on South America.
Do people know what the Pope is? The Pope is the vicar of Christ. The Pope is, since Christ ain't here, the Pope is Christ. He's the vicar of Christ. He speaks the words of Christ. I don't know, man. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable with this Pope because before you brought this up, I was going to be bringing up the negative aspect of this Pope, because I've already starting to see some of these reports coming out that you hear about these Catholic priests.
I know I'm drunk now. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's in the microcosm.
I forgot my favorite man sitting over there. His name is
Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina. 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 Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina.
Sit in the microcosm.
Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina, want to quit? You really make me sick with your fraudulent behavior. You're gonna make me flip and then the army couldn't save you. Why don't you behave, you little rugrat? Take a little tip from the tabloid, because I know I'm not paranoid. When I say I saw you trying to mock me, now you and your crew are on a mission trying to hawk me. But it isn't happening, you fraudulent foes. You used to front big time, now I suppose that everything's cool since the style of apparel you adopted. You used to make fun of, but now you wanna rock it. So you gotta kick it with the homies.
Kick it with the homies every Friday night right here at Ground Zero Plus Media, following Beyond Ground Zero. It's Revolution Radio, it's Independent Broadcast Network. We can't take calls tonight because Skype ended. We can't merge calls into teams. And for some reason, if you call me on Zoom, it blocks out the rest of these guys, and I can't get back on the call. And so we bumped up against these situations, but we have adapted and we've overcome here tonight. And we'll be back.
We will get that sorted out one way or the other.
And we'll be back tomorrow night.
We'll figure it out.
We'll be back tomorrow night with the Chilluminati. Step into the inner sanctum tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Pacific. Believe me, there's lots of overflow from this show because I had 96 windows open on my iPad and we didn't even get to 3 of them because of all the technical issues. So tomorrow night should be a cornucopia of intensity.
Goodness.
Yeah, now we brought up this Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. No, I don't know if you've seen it. Okay? I don't know if you've seen this commercial. Now, I know you can't see it right now on Ground Zero Plus, but pretty soon we're going to have video over there, and you'll be able to see it. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring it back. I think I'm going to, unless I've lost this page. In that case, I won't bring it back immediately. I'll have to dig it back up. But the point being is that there's a satanic mechanic working over at KFC because they got a new sandwich coming out. And the thing is, I'm talking about it because the ad is so striking. And I mean, in this community, you won't be happy about it, and that's for sure. But the point being is that it was so intense that I'm actually talking about it right now, and they're actually getting word of mouth advertising from me right now. I am being programmed to spew this to you right now because, like I say, what are they doing, you guys? You saw the commercial. I got to dig this thing up because I think I lost it already. But I'll have to dig it back
Well, we're
up.
talking about how the difference between how the two corporations really run everything. And the
No,
collective
I
farming
don't
in
give a
United
shit
States,
about the
but-
corporations, dude. I'm talking about the
No,
red
but
handkerchiefs.
the ad though is Pepsi, right? It's a Pepsi Core.
I don't care about it being
Yeah,
Pepsi. I'm
absolutely.
talking about the ad itself with the red handkerchiefs
Yeah,
and the
all
people
over. It's got C in red.
mumbling.
The Eyes Wide Shut commercial.
Yeah, they're mumbling
Yeah.
and then they're
They did it with Taco
slurping.
Bell before, which is it's a Pepsi thing.
They're slurping up those
Society
burgers.
ritual.
They're slurping those burgers up with that shit all over their face. You know, it's disgusting. And they're making
What's in that,
smacking
man?
sounds. Let me just say, you know.
What are they eating?
Yeah, exactly. What is in there? Because we did
There's not beef burgers, man. That's long pig burgers.
long ham, and we did that show where they did.
Maybe.
Dude, they did a oh, we're in luck. We did a show where the meat was analyzed, and there was man corn found in that meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. In the Taco Bell dog food that they put in the tacos.
No, this was a McDonald's burger. No, I saw.
Oh, well, that too, right?
The other day-
burgers had human genetic material in the burger.
Man, the other day, here it is. Oh no, that's what's their nuts about this. Have you heard about the $21 trillion that's been missing? I think Clyde did a show earlier this week about the show Paradise, which is an underground city after the end of the world.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, here comes what's her nuts going on to what's his face's show, and she's sitting there talking about the 21 trillion. Here.
Going, and one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
yes, so we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure.
Can I ask a question? I know it's probably a stupid question, but
Axe.
let me axe away. Isn't the national debt 21 trillion?
something like that.
Yeah.
Might be higher now.
And, you know, I mean, the disappearing children, are those the new children for after the from after the event or whatever?
Well, what she was talking about was like a network of like 170 underground bases that are connected by underground interstates that go north of the Canadian border, south of the Mexican border. And it's huge. And if you remember they had in Europe, I think in the Netherlands, they had a convention about the secret space program, and where a lot of the money has been disappearing to the secret space program. And a lot of people assume that it was outer space, but this could be like subspace.
Inner space.
Well, you know, I mean, we heard all this talk, you know, around, I guess, started around like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, about Elon Musk and the Boring Company being able to build these high-speed rails for the Tesla cars to zoom underground, and how that was going to... But we haven't heard anything about that in like the last, I don't know, 7-8 years. Or, I mean, you heard a little bit here and there, but not much. But all those big line boring machines that, you know, chewing through the rock, those mining machines, what have they been doing for all this time? I'm sure they're not just sitting around idle doing nothing.
Here, let me throw you this. Let me throw you this bone, okay? Let me ask you this question. Let's suppose, this is my own supposition. I'll just throw this out there. This is my timeline idea. So let's suppose these cities were being built because a certain threshold had been crossed somewhere, notating that something was going to happen that's happened in the past, which sparked a whole thing to happen, which started happening. But the 2012 date was just a dummy date. It was the drop dead date for all these systems to be in place and ready to go, because they knew that sometime in the next decade or so, this thing was going to happen based on whatever it is that they know about ahead of time. So when the Michelle Pfeiffer incident happened, that's when the situation's critical, and all the people were moved into these areas. And then they're dummies, and these mask wearers and lip syncers have been out here ever since. Now, have you seen any A-list celebrities in the last fucking year or two? Where's all the people sitting on these couches, you know, telling jokes? Where's Brad Pitt?
Yeah, the only one you see is De Niro, and I think he's out of the club.
I'm just
see
saying,
Sean Penn pop up once in a while too.
You don't even see him pop up anymore. You know,
Yeah,
and even when you
I
saw,
haven't seen any.
no, I'm just saying, even when you saw him pop up, how do you know it was even him? Unless you were actually there. You
saw him in Santa Monica last weekend.
Because this shit is deep fake, man. Have you seen? We should do a show on this, man. Have you seen the there's obviously, they're not going to let you make videos so you can fake people. There's obviously technology that's going to know about it, you know, but they just let you think you can go out there and fake somebody's shit, and then they're going to throw you in prison. But really, they have an AI that looks at video and can tell everything about it, and tell if it's fake or not. And they had the AI look at a bunch of moon landing videos. Bye-bye, moon landing. Woohoo! It's Ground Zero Plus. My name's Jimmy. It's in the microcosm. We got off track. We were talking about the Pope soap on a rope. Mr. Bob Dabalina. Could be the Hermes Trismegistus coming back for Atlantis. See,
He's a White Sox fan too.
This is where I would tell you to call in, but since the phones ain't open, we'll just go ahead with this anyway.
Some people live apart, they break your heart so damn easy. And then one night in stunning victory, she decides and you agree she's leaving.
That's one of their best records, man. Fair warning. Van Halen with the original asshole, Dave. Diamond Dave.
Dave TV. Hey, Jimmy, got a question I want
Shoot.
to ask you.
Ask me away.
Have you heard of the theory of orchestrated objective reduction?
No. Please, fill me in.
Yes. This suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes in microtubules within neurons. This theory aims to explain the nature of consciousness and its connection to quantum mechanics. That's Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff collaborating on a theory. This is from the 90s.
From the 90s. No.
Coming to bear.
Throw it down again. Let me hear it again.
Okay, so theory of orchestrated objective reduction.
Uh-huh.
And suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes in microtubules within neurons, within the brain. And this theory aims to explain the nature of consciousness and its connection to quantum mechanics.
Now, there's something called the United States Psychotronics Association. And some of the biggest names in science have all been a part of it. And at one point, they said that they had mapped consciousness. And so I'm wondering, I'd have to go over there and look. S90's in the chat. He's saying neurons are made up of billions of smaller quantum neurons, which scanning the brain tech is basically useless. I'd have to disagree with you there, S90. Based on the research that we've been doing on some other stuff, because there's literally, I have to pull it up, man. But there's a company in Australia that's got a synthetic brain that's going right now already. So whatever quantum neurons are present at this point, I would have to assume or assert that they're probably some sort of synthetic technology that will be able to accommodate some of those things. But seriously, S90, jump on if you can. I don't know if Rio, can you add S90?
No, he's already in the chat. He can just hit join. He's already on there.
Oh, he's on the call.
Yeah. He just hit join.
Yeah, S90. If you feel like it, brother, just jump on here with us, man.
Him and John Brisson both actually.
They didn't mean to call you guys earlier. We were just, like I was saying, we're
trying to get it sorted out. For this. Yeah. We're just trying to test everything out. But you and John are both invited on this call. So all you have to do is just join, I think.
If not, I can re-add them.
Well, the thing about this is that we had gotten off course with these underground bunkers, but it tied into what we were talking about last week with when pigs fly. And so, but here's the thing, though, dude. It might tie in specifically to this Pope thing that you're bringing up, because this Pope might have to be the guy that's present when this situation unfolds, because of the connections that you found back to this Atlantean.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I didn't misrepresent it. I mean, because it really is. I mean, you got to remember, I just found it today. Yeah, like everybody else, he just got elected Pope, right? But man, it's all there. Like, there's so much stuff there with this guy. And like, if you were writing an episode of Ancient Aliens or something, he'd be right in the middle of it. He'd be your guy. You know what I mean? He's right in the middle of it.
Simulacra.
I live uptown. I live downtown. I live all around. I had money
money. It's Ground Zero Plus, fully listener supported. You don't hear any commercials on here. Well, at least not yet. Would you be pissed if I get a sponsor on here, or a few of them?
No, not at all.
Or would you? No, I'm asking the listeners. Would you guys be pissed if I've got sponsors? You'd have to listen to commercials. I mean, we don't want to do it. We used to do it. We haven't done it for a long time. But I mean, if you got, this shit costs money, man. I mean, not a lot of money, but some. And so, when you got Ground Zero Plus over there, you can join up over there for almost nothing. What is it over there? $7 a month?
Cheeseburger.
Huh?
Cheeseburger.
All right, there he goes, the Lizard King. Yeah, Cortical Labs, exactly.
All right, I got the right S90 now. Hang on.
Yeah, Amber's got it in the chat. It's Cortical. It's in that article that I wrote. I just couldn't think of the name, man. I'm deadbeat. You wouldn't believe what happened to me yesterday. While you're getting S90 hooked up here, I'll tell you a personal story. All right, remember I broke my leg? Well, I still have a broken leg, and I'm still on that boot situation. Okay, so yesterday, I decided, because I'm supposed to put 50% of my weight on my leg and, get ready to start walking. Okay, so yesterday I see a bunch of leaves and shit up in my area up here, so I decided I'm going to go up there and do some yard work, and I'm sitting here, and I'm on my iPad, and I'm working on a project, and I say to myself, you know what, I'm going to put this thing down, this project, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go start a bath, and then I'm going to come back out and work on this project. And then when I came back out, I said, you know what, I'm going to do something first so I could reward myself with the bath later. So I jumped up there and I started, doing some yard work, this and that. Well, I got engrossed in what I was doing. I started putting shit, I was cleaning shit, I was watering plants, I was talking to the birds, I was feeding the hummingbirds, I was doing all this shit. And then all of a sudden I go in the house and I'm going to do something, I'm going to clean a bird cage because I have this canary, and his name's Mario. And so I'm going to clean his cage, and I'm sitting there, I'm about to clean his cage, and I look over by my bathroom, and I see this, it looks like an optical illusion, and I'm sitting there, because there's a gate there to keep the dog from going down the hall. So I'm thinking I'm looking through the gate at a weird angle, and I'm seeing an optical illusion. And then I look, and I go, fuck! I forgot the bathtub was on. Now, it overflowed, and it overflowed out of the bathroom, down the hall, okay, into the rear bedroom, all up in there, all in that bathroom. It's fucking 6 inches of water. 6 inches of water in the carpet. Meanwhile, I got a broken fucking leg. And I'm trying to hop around. With a quickness. Then I got to go up on the upper deck, get a wet, dry vacuum cleaner, drag it down the stairs. All the time, I'm with my crutches hopping, trying to, man, it was an intense situation. So, little, just one of the things that happened this week,
Hopping around with a purpose. I mean, there's a lyric there. There is.
It was almost
Sounds like an ass-kicking contest.
It was almost a total disaster. Luckily, I called some cart cleaners to come out here and suck up all the water after I got most of it up with the other thing. Anyways, persevere. That's what I did. Anyhow, and I tried to still even be in an okay mood, but I really wasn't in that good of a mood after all that, but, who would be? And hopefully they weren't monitoring my behavioral quantitative data, because they've learned how to replay the intense feedback loop back to old Jimmy and get me in a circle, make my eye turn purple. Get your ass in a circle. All right, we can't take calls. We know you want to call because this obviously is an intense subject. Rockario, have you gotten S90 on the line?
Yes, he is. He has arrived.
S90.
How's it going?
Good. Welcome into the microcosm.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. So
Thanks,
now
guys.
jump on in here with some of this tubular neurons and what's going on with this. I haven't heard anything about this at all.
Quantum neuron mumbo jumbo. Yeah, no, it's a theory from the 90s, like Kak was talking about, where it's just sort of the idea that the neurons in your brain are made up of it is a bundle of many other smaller neurons that operate at a quantum level because of their size. And so I wasn't saying that the mind reading technology is useless. I'm saying that if this theory is correct, then either if they're assuming that that's not true and they're developing all this mind reading technology, but really they're bundles of quantum fibers or something, then they're going to be off. Or their technology is way more advanced than they'll tell us if that theory is true, or that theory is not true at all. That's all I was really saying, right? It's just a different way of, like, it may be, imagine they go after the brain, they spend all this money on the brain, but they actually just used the wrong model of it, and they missed the fact that the neurons actually, 1 million smaller quantum neurons, and they mess it all up. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? That's all I was really saying. You just brought up something that's interesting. Sorry.
It is interesting. No, I mean, and the thing is, there's this, we go back to it quite a bit and we bring it up. We talk about it so much, I should just keep it over here so I can always reference it. But there's a thing called the gateway process. You can find it on the CIA reading room, CIA.gov. But there's a thing, it's a supplemental to the gateway process, and it's findings and this and that. And they said that consciousness isn't the individual. That consciousness is like a flowing sea, and that the self is outside of that, but you still have universal consciousness. That's a flowing river that everyone ties into, kind of thing. So that would kind of tie into what these quantum entanglement ideas that we were talking about tonight with some of this API stuff, this API information, and the digital soul. Because we had talked about it a couple weeks ago before any of this information had come to light, and what we found and what we thought was, and I think we even said it specifically, they were reverse engineering the soul, right? So,
Man, I just want to step in for 2 seconds, though. Honestly, they can say that and they can think that, but if we're talking about an actual supreme being who created our souls and has all this, is above all, like, there's no way that would just sort of violate the whole idea of just don't sort of. I think people, when they say it's like, oh, they're going to give you Michelle Pfeiffer's that remove your belief, or that they're going to steal your soul. I think that I really do believe that's just fear. If you're a spiritual person, if you're a religious person, whatever, I'm just saying, if you really think someone can steal your soul, then it's like, you got to believe in God, right? Like,
right.
Anyway, that's just for the people.
No, you're 100% right, though. The thing is that when there becomes these parallels where all of a sudden, I'm just throwing this out there from technology standpoint, all of a sudden there's cameras everywhere. It's kind of like God watching you the whole time. And, they're storing it in the cloud. And when you're done, you're going to review your information, that's been gained. It's the same thing as what's going on this fucking internet. Except for the thing is, it's like, we're talking about the ability to transfer something to someone else after you're gone. So people saying, I live forever. So just like you train something to voice, so you can talk to it, it'll understand you, and it'll type just like you talk. You do the same thing with your behavior.
It's a replicant.
Right, but it doesn't go away.
Yeah, it's
so
replication.
It's there.
It's artificial replication. It's not the source wave of God. It's not the voice of God. It's not the vibration. It's not the analog reality.
No.
It's something that's replicated. It's a digital imprint. It's like an imprint on something. And that's they're trying to achieve with transhumanism, right? It's the ability transfer your consciousness
This
beyond yourself, and that's never going to work.
This is
because of that very thing.
Didn't Peter Thiel say he didn't trust that process, the idea of downloading your brain? Didn't he recently just say he's probably not going to try to download his brain because how can you be sure that's really you? Yeah, there you go. Even he's like getting a little bit of cold feet there. He's like, maybe I'll just stick with, the meat suit for a while.
He just took over the world, man. Yeah, South Africa rules the world now.
I think once he gets a few guinea pigs to try it, he'll go for it himself.
But even then, the seed of doubts in his mind, it's like, well, it's a really good scan, but it's still not them, He'd probably rather be a head in a jar like Futurama. Because at least that way, he's like, at least I know I'm myself.
Well, the thing about it is, man.
Head in a jar, right?
The thing about it is this digital replica of you. And Amber sent me a link to the computer that's running on living human brain cells. And then right over here in the column next to it, it says, this new AI is made of living human brain cells. So we're going to have to probably bring some of that to the table tomorrow night for the Chilluminati. So we'll take a look at some of those things. But back to what we were saying. So just like when Epic Journeyman used to talk about in a video game where you leave a parrot at the table at some bar that you're at, and you leave the game and you come back and the parrot's still there. It's kind of like that. Only see now this thing with the GT with Grand Theft Auto 6 is they're calling it the Living City, and that's how all this got started. And so, but we've been talking about the sentient world simulation for how many years, Matt?
A long time now.
Right. Okay. So that's the granddaddy of what we're talking about right here. That led us to where we are right now, and then except for we had the Michelle Pfeiffer incident, and now apparently, potentially, there's certain things in these, whether they're ingestibles or whether they come down out of the sky for weather control. With aerosols, whatever these chips are, these nanoparticles, these plastics, it doesn't matter. They're saying you got like a plastic fork's worth of plastic in your brain. Who knows what's on the plastic at this point? What was that? What's his nuts? He came out and told you all about nano dust or whatever.
Michio Kaku. I remember watching documentaries on Discovery Channel as, like an idealistic 20-year-old, and he's talking about smart dust will cover everything and the door will open for you as you, and as a, I guess I suppose, like a lazy, entitled kind of millennial age, I could see that appealing to, and probably even more so now, with the newer generations. Like, at least I experienced outside and a life without computers. These people haven't, right? It's the one thing you always said, Jimmy, that always makes me laugh. It's like, just shove an iPad in the baby's face. Shut up. You said it a long time ago. Years ago, I still remember it was like, just shove an iPad in the baby's face. Shut up.
Ain't nothing going to break the bus stride. Ain't nothing going to slow me down.
No.
Right? Yeah, that's totally it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen.
Everything opens for you. Everything's ready for you, right?
Time's almost up. We got to go. Ground Zero Plus. We're on YouTube if you want to come over here and join us. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Pacific. Revolution Radio. We'll see you next week. Thanks for being here. Send to Microcosm.
Don't forget Mother's Day.
It's Ground Zero Plus. You're only going to find it right here, man.
Won't you be your slave? I don't want to work all day. I don't want you to be true. I just want to make love to you. I don't want you maybe no clothes. I don't want you roll your hose. I don't want you money too. I just want to make love to you. But I can tell by the way that you walk that walk. I can know by the way you baby talk. I can see by the way you love your man. I love you baby till to crying shame. I don't want
see Ground Zero Plus tomorrow. We're here on YouTube. Hey, stand
This
by
revolutionary
for a second
teeth
here.
cleaner is saving a.
You want to stick around, Cac? Everybody's still here?
Yeah, we're here. I'm here.
All right, stand by here.
There's 90 still here. I think Cac bailed already.
Yeah, Cac's quick on the draw. All right. Hey, Samuel. Thank you. Appreciate it. Samuel over in the chat. There's people cruising over. All right, stand by for a second. Let's take just a few minutes here to chill. Gotta get chill. There goes the standby. Standby, here we go. Check this out. Here we go. Standby. All right.
Scientists just built a computer powered by living human brain cells. And it learns faster than any AI chip out there. It doesn't even need a traditional computer to run. This isn't sci-fi, it's real, it's on the market, and the craziest part, you can actually buy one. Let's talk about it. All right, now I know biological computer sounds pretty wild. We're talking about a computer made partly out of living human brain cells, actual living neurons, plus silicon hardware, working together to form what they're calling synthetic biological intelligence. This new form of AI, or SBI for short, is not just some sci-fi concept. It's real, and it's been officially launched. Cortical Labs revealed the CL1 at an event in Barcelona on March 2nd, 2025, and they say it's going to revolutionize everything from drug discovery to disease modeling to how we might build future robotics and automation systems. So how does it work exactly? The idea is that these neurons, which are grown in the lab from induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs, can be placed on something like a silicon chip that has electrodes laid out in a grid. In the CL1 setup, there are 59 electrodes, forming a sort of playground for these neurons to grow and form connections. Cortical Labs calls it a body in a box. It has its own life support system so the cells can thrive, filtration, pumps, temperature control, gas mixing, basically an entire environment to keep the neurons healthy. This is then connected to software that reads and writes signals to the neurons in real time. Because these brain cells thrive on predictable signals, they're basically searching for energy-efficient ways to respond, the system can reward them for doing something right and punish them for doing something wrong. Cortical's earlier research published in the journal Neurons showed that with the right stimulus, these cultured neurons learned how to play the classic arcade game Pong. The researchers would send electrical signals to tell the cells where the paddle was, and the cells would respond. If the virtual ball was missed, a random chaotic signal was sent back which the cells didn't like. If they hit the ball, the signal was more predictable, so over time the neurons got better at Pong. That first version was called DishBrain, and it made headlines because it was basically the beginning of this idea that you could have a self-learning, living network on a chip. DishBrain was neat, but the new CL1 is way beyond that. Cortical Labs has reworked the technology to be more stable, more energy efficient, and easier to program. The CL1 has planar electrode arrays, basically glass and metal, which simplify the process of balancing out any electrical charge that builds up. They've also introduced something called the minimal viable brain concept, the notion that they can figure out just which types of cells and how many are needed to create something that can, in effect, learn and adapt in more advanced ways. If that wasn't cool enough, the CL1 only draws about 850 to
Zach snuck out of the green room. Zach, get back in there. Zach, he likes to jam.
We're not ready for you,
He
Zach.
likes to jam, man.
That is so disgusting, that video. That is just so weird. And like, why do we live in a mad scientist lab? Why is this reality? What did we do?
I just keep thinking back to that documentary we used to play chunks out of where the guy goes, "Hey man, we're from the Silicon Valley."
Yeah, right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you don't know what's going on. You know, you're not moving into the future. What the fuck's going on with Bitcoin? Went over 102,000. Crypto started going psycho yesterday. Bunch of them. I saw one went up 152%. It's called Moon UK or something like that. It was literally unbelievable. Anyways, they're looking for a big run up. So if you're a holder, hold on, you know, hold on. People, there's millionaires are going to be made coming up, but you're going to need that ID. You're going to want it, because if you're a millionaire, you're not going to want your information out there floating around. You know, you need to protect it.
And to think, when I first heard about Bitcoin, it was $7.
And
It's like
speaking
$1 when I heard about it. Yeah.
Speaking of protecting your data, encryption matters. And the first thing that comes to mind is biological data storage. You know, either encoded as a string of DNA, or, you know, in a DishBrain or whatever they called it, right? The thing playing the game. Some kind of biological computer or biological data storage. You can't hack that with your cell phone. Like if you have to plug a petri dish into a machine to read it, they're going to have to physically steal it from you to read it, right?
Snake in your blood. Like vampires aren't really sucking your blood in the stories of the past. They're snagging your DNA to decrypt your login data.
Maybe.
Right?
Cyber vampires.
You look at it that way, like that's where it all goes down to. You know, I wonder about this whole thing about biological DNA encryption and how isn't it weird, like 23andMe is bankrupt now, and you had to snag your data and keep them being dispersed if you wanted to before it actually closed down, and I did, but they were looking for the they were literally looking for they say Neanderthal blood, right? So you found all these Neanderthal people who had higher than normal Neanderthal. What if they're looking for Nephilim? What if they're looking for certain people, certain markers, certain remnants? I think they were. Right?
They do.
And yeah.
Nothing specific. Just imagine they're just looking for it all. They just want all the data on everybody.
The worst thing that could possibly happen is for a bunch of Rh negative people to get together, because they don't want that. Believe me, every single person who's Rh negative on this planet, they know exactly where you are and who you are. There's not one single person that they don't know. And, why is that? And I don't know. This is an interesting scenario. But in any event, probably time for us to TFO, eh? Hey, D. Hodges, put your website back in there again.
I just wanted to... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, S90.
I was just going to say really quickly, it's just, if we have the biological computing rather than the, silicon-based, like your brain doesn't communicate with electrical signals. It doesn't communicate with electrons, right? Like you always get this misinterpretation. You watch the Fight Club intro and you see, little balls of light dancing down the brain stem, of the human. It's not like that. It communicates chemically, right? With chemical signals. There is no electrons.
Vibrations. Yeah.
Yes. And so the idea that there's no electrons to hack. There's nothing you can steal in that way, right? It's communicate. Well, the speed of light is I can't recall it off the top of my head, but basically the speed your brain communicates at is about 8 meters a second, with epic set with pheromones.
186,000 miles per second. Yeah.
Yes, versus 8 meters a second, right? And so it's a completely different type of communication and storage, and I think it's about $1,000 per megabyte to write data into DNA right now, but that will go down, obviously.
It will, and
and you'll have little vials of DNA.
Well,
I guess, be data.
There's a small college in New York where they invented the quantum internet to work over fiber optic cables. Listen,
Google Fiber.
It's been a hardcore week, and it's time to GTFO because we got to return tomorrow at 8 o'clock Pacific on Ground Zero Plus. So thanks everybody for being here, and we'll see you.
Well, we did our trial run, on Microsoft Teams as opposed to Skype. Yeah, and so we have to learning as we go.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen,
we're gonna head out.
Hedges.
All right, good night, everybody.
God bless.
There must be some kind of way out of here. There's a joke to the thief. It's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. Businessmen, they drink my wine. Plowmen dig my earth. None of them along the line know what any of it's worth. No reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through all that, and this is not our fate. So let us not talk falsely now. The hour is getting late. Kept the view, while all the women came and went, barefoot servants too.